Call the meeting to order. Vote present are Jane Angvik, Fred Shy, Mary Frony, Lisa Parker, Jim Parsons, Frank Reed, Arliss Sturgielewski. Those absent are Dick Fisher, Sherry Holmes, Joe Josephson, Bill Sheffield. We have before us approval of the minutes of the regular meetings of June 26th and July 1st. That were distributed at a previous meeting. Chair will entertain a motion for approval. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Hearing no objections. So ordered.
The reason the July 8th minutes are being submitted to you again as revised was Sherry thought that there may have been a lot of stuff that was missed on that tape. And I didn't do those minutes, so I listened to the tape again, and the first 4 pages are new pages to those minutes. The rest are the same.
We'll take those up next at the next meeting after we've had an opportunity to review them. Also present, Rick Garnett, Patty Santek, Pat Purnell. And we're now studying the submission of the Public Information Committee. Peace and quiet will reign supreme for a few minutes.
Sure. That's for your consideration.
Okay.
And all I did was just go through the first page quickly, and then I didn't have time to look through the rest of it before we got back. It's a suggestion.
Pat, did we have some more of the Anchorage charters here?
Yes.
Right behind them.
I have probably about 2,000 for us here to be used. Another 8,000 still ready if we need.
And the rest of them, other than what's right behind Fred there, the rest of them I put on this counter in the coffee room.
What's up to 10,000? What's incorrect, Arliss?
Well, maybe we ought to wait till we go through, but I think your question number 4, I think is incorrect.
Okay.
Very awkward. the expert either. If the, it just generally, these are the kinds of questions we're looking at, and these are,
You plan to go through it one by one,
Yes.
then, yeah, I think that would be the best.
The intent is, this is the general idea now, how do we make it work? Dictionary, Joe Bill. Sherry,
That's nice. Nice and broad.
They had a little poll of the fire chiefs the other night at one of their meetings, and it was strictly a thing done in secret, and by a 2-to-1 margin, Charter failed.
Charter failed.
That was a poll of who?
Firemen.
Fire chiefs.
How many fire chiefs are there?
3.
3.
No, it's, like your ones that are battalion chiefs in that group, and, I'm sure job
Mm-hmm.
security and bringing together is a big factor. Doesn't surprise me at all. Citibank Beach Fire Chief thinks it's a good job.
You think what?
He was the one.
And it was interesting to me, they are having on a staff level between city and borough, they are getting together that it's unified, talking over,
Great.
some of the things that like that.
Who's Stan Erickson working for? You know?
He's a consultant.
Well, I know, but he keeps calling me. He says he's working on some kind of a master plan to handle the mechanics of unification.
Well,
And he
Stan's
called.
been interested in the charter.
Stan is a one-man crusader within himself.
It may well be he's gonna,
Well, he said that he approached Roderick and Sullivan and kind of informally said, whichever one of you guys wins, you're going to need this thing, and I'll
is
collect.
he positive?
Yeah.
Good, because
mean,
I'd rather have him with us than against
Oh,
us.
sure. He calls and asks about this or that, and he's pointed out several little things in the chart.
Yeah.
That are wrong.
Well, not just, just he has questions about it.
He's all right, but he can drive you to
Maybe
town.
Doug Millar hired.
They're not exactly
No, he wouldn't be.
philosophically
He wouldn't be hireable by Doug.
No. Or vice versa.
No. Pat, Rod was here this afternoon, by the way. Maybe
You're
he can-
kidding. He just ruined my report. I just said he was unavailable and has disappeared.
Who was that?
Roderick.
He spent about a half hour, 45 minutes here, and I gave him the rundown on all.
Did you give him that to take with him? Oh, good. Patty, thank you. Oh, that blows my
He said he was
report.
going to do all the easy ones tonight, and he'll talk to you about the high ones tomorrow.
In other words, he'll do
The
two.
graphics guy has
Oh.
been doing that.
Anytime.
Can we pick up some money for him tomorrow, do you think?
I hope so. Did you check on checks today?
Yeah, there was nothing today.
No, I'll bug him first thing in the morning
Would you?
tomorrow.
Because that's
and
why
then
he's
all day long.
holding tight, I think. Doesn't have enough money to travel between Goodwood.
That's being fairly tight.
He's pretty tight. Yeah,
But I know how it
living
is.
the guy who's the artist, so the sketches are.
Can't he get a job?
He's waiting for an ironworkers thing. He wants to go in there creating ironwork or something like that. He's been told that he could do something with the new bank down there.
He wants to make a whale like Ensenada.
First, he's got to go chase meter maids.
There's something behind that remark.
Anybody?
If you're familiar with the history of Joe Princiati.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Joe Franciata, I need it.
Did you get a ticket?
I don't. Well, I want to know, Fred, is how do you go about becoming a consul so that you don't have to pay your secretary?
Lois Laboli's not represented yet.
I was appointed. I was appointed. They asked me to take it, and I took it. And I said, what's the benefits? Well, they said, you don't get paid, it's honorary, but you get diplomatic plates on your car.
Which means no parking ticket.
So I have diplomatic plates on my car, I don't get a parking ticket.
Who did it present?
Italy.
Okay, that's neat.
What else?
The Guineas, and Bill Moran, and the Guineas and the Wops. There's more reasons for him than there is for Moran. Moran's not even German.
You'd be surprised how many women I have to bail out who are pregnant looking for their husbands.
Hey, now
I
in
have
the
to pay
Times
that fare back
parking
to
lot,
Italy.
there is a Continental with a 0 on the license plate.
See when you
That's Elaine's.
That's not 0, that's O.
it's an O.
That's O for
Outstanding.
Just one O?
Oh, for what?
so. Oh,
Come on, let's move this show.
Oh.
Jane's still.
Oh, I thought you were our leader.
Right. What I would like to do
Let's
then,
go back
Heavy
on the
on.
record, Frank.
It's on.
it's on. Been on.
You should just take number 1 over.
well, let's start with the first page, which is the introduction.
It's sterling.
But this is going to be in a brochure, is that right?
Okay, we talked with Phil Spreadon today, who is designing and laying out the brochure, and she's got some ideas, or she actually has a mock-up.
There it is.
Although this won't look like what it looks like after it's all over. Okay, it's black printing on a beige thing. We can change this title any way we want to. This is to give us an idea of what it looked like. The new government for Anchorage, questions and answers on the charter. This is suggested to be a photograph of Anchorage, probably the central business district area.
Perfectly good as it is. The drawing shows her down here, perfectly good as it is.
Okay. This introduction part is a letter from us to the residents of Anchorage about what this thing is. This brochure will go into the shopping bags and Bilo and Safeway and cars, and it's for mass distribution. Our audience is all those people out there. The assumption is that those who pick it up will have some interest in the charter. And I think that it's important that this first section spur their interest to read on the rest of it. The idea is that it will be in very big print so that people can, scan through it, and it'll be, at this point, we've got question, answer, and only a few graphics, and I wanted to expand it so that there are more graphics, and it's so that it's airier. Right now it looks like a very tight government document. It looks, in my opinion, quite sterile. And I would just assume that it got a little freer so that somebody who doesn't know anything about this might pursue it a little more. Question and answer, all printed out. This is the apportionment plan. We have, when we talk about the services and protections for the that the charter provides, I wanted her to draw up some graphics of services that people can actually identify with, whether it's education or road protection or dock control or something like that they can identify their lives with what we're talking about, because even that term government services, people sometimes don't even understand what we're talking about unless we spell out and give examples. Then just following the question and answer format, this would be a picture of a bike trail or something like that would show more the rural areas. If the front is the urban area, this would be more the rural area. And the back would be the village area with a large vote September 9th.
What's your timing on this? Do you plan to get back to us one more time with a more complete mock-up, or what are you looking for?
I would like to have language the way we want it tonight, so that I can give it to her and she can be finishing it on Monday, and it can go to the printers on Tuesday or Wednesday.
I think it's going to need some editing here, and I'm not so sure we can do
One
all that.
suggestion I have, just looking at that thing that you flashed there, and then looking at, I noticed you sign as the Charter Commission. Wouldn't it be more appropriate to sign it with individual names?
I was thinking as I read, and this is not a personal aggrandizement thing, but that there is personal identification
That's
with
right.
the names that has power.
Rather than keeping it so
I don't
distant.
think they have to be in the 60-point type or anything, but the fact that it's there, I think has certain clout to it.
And let's face it, there's a little ham bone in all of us.
Well, Herb Shaman said that the other night at the TV program after everything was over. He said he thinks one of the strongest things the charter has going for it is the people on it.
The names,
Because
yeah.
the community does tend to identify with the individuals.
That's right. Well, I would suggest that.
Whether we are of the same stature as the city charter back in the 50s, if you look back upon those names, these were rooted, solid citizens, and it certainly, I'm sure, had a bearing on the fact that it was accepted with.
Rooted silence.
Well, look back. Maybe not now, but in looking back at that
Do you
document.
know if I'm solid or not?
You're a citizen anyway.
In relation to this first page, how about if we just talk about what you don't like or don't like about it right now, because I don't think we can go through line by
I don't
line.
think we can.
And we'll try and redraft it the way that it might reflect the thinking of the group.
On the first page, you say a first copy of the charter, and I suspect the word draft rather than copy might be a better word there.
It's Fred.
Paragraph where you're talking, I think that,
Does a citizen know what a draft is that's in?
Well, copy means it's like it's the first tape. It's the first, the one off the press.
it almost smacks a little that third paragraph as though we went to the experts for this highly technical. Somehow it gives the opinion that maybe that was, we got more from that than we did at the public hearing. I just, a little sense. And I can't say quite what, I don't know whether you want to get in the charter production committee, but there were many other hours spent drafting if we want to impress on them how hard we did.
I think that it's important that they know that we did work hard. And I don't know that we want them to know that we spent all our time with the experts instead of with each other, as was the case.
I think the other thing is, if you want to bring in the fact that we listened to, well, you took testimony, we listened to consultants, we had a poll taken, a public poll was taken
Of the entire area.
of the entire area, that should be in there. I mean, I think we ought to enumerate all the things that were our devices that we used.
Okay.
And I'm a little concerned about 4, where the commission had many meetings following release to change the many items the citizens want to change, agreeable to most. Somehow, I think we need to,
It
there
wasn't
was
many.
a balanced, well, taking into account something like the many equities and coming up with a balanced document. Somehow just reacting to the people, it doesn't seem to imply.
Yeah.
We were reacting,
not?
but we were responsibly reacting, and I hopefully we
To
were.
consider ideas
Consider.
presented by the
Yeah.
If you
public.
just
Right.
change the word change to consider the many items
And
the citizen wants to change.
leave out that second many on items. To consider the items that the citizens want to change.
Yeah, that's right.
There weren't that many.
And there was nothing that these citizens.
I don't know though, another comment, ran into Millet Keller and he says, boy, he says, you know, I had all those things and I did my nitpicking, and he said, I went to look at your final charter, and he says, I'm just delighted. And he said, the way you handle all of my objections, you just dropped out all that wording. But he was really tickled, very positive. He said we did change a lot. Where do we think we did it all?
No, it's no.
That's what he thought.
I want you to be doing is getting a sense of what we're saying in the book.
I'm writing the sense.
Go ahead.
That's all I had.
You said in paragraph 3 there about the 70 public meetings, 12 public hearings, and the extra hours listening, taking account
Public poll.
from people in the areas where the charter is highly technical. Considering public poll,
Public poll, review of other charters of other cities. We did look at, because I noticed there's questions in here about how's it done elsewhere. But we did look at elsewhere, we just didn't look at Anchorage.
And I think
You were magnificent today. You even told them we took a poll. And you said that with all kinds of positive feeling.
Well, you have to be positive, whether you believe it or not. I mean, we're all unified on this thing.
Well,
Where
he did
did you
roll his
speak,
eyes to the
Fred?
ceiling.
To the public?
Republican Club.
Did it work all right?
Yeah, it
It
worked
went
fine.
very well.
Who was on?
It was a very poor.
Shane and
Shane
I.
and Fred. It was probably the poorest turnout I've seen there in a long
Yeah,
time.
it was.
But at least that's,
You can't gauge when you're going to have every little crowd all the
Damn
time.
Republicans.
Go to the other charters.
Jane, maybe.
I hope we can throw in bond council there, because I've heard a couple of questions, people are worrying, you know, are bonds gonna be all right? My squelch sticks to Sarah that way, he was all concerned about that, and I said, hey buddy, we talked to the bond people, and they feel it might even be better, you know, and then he backed off.
I'm not sure where, but somewhere that we should mention the conferences we've had with public officials from the local area.
Representatives of the employee unions, and throw the
Yeah.
whole jolly bit.
And both city and borough administrators.
Did you see that little thing in the paper last night on the firefighters?
Yes.
I don't know if that's for us or against.
Incidentally, while I think about it,
Didn't say.
I'm sick.
Oh.
I didn't see
What
They
that.
were
was what it said.
They were at an impasse with the borough and
Oh.
kind of determined
yes.
who they're going to support. It's going to be the right people. I guess.
Oh, yeah.
The APA is claiming they're at impasse with us.
Incidentally, one point I wanted to make when you mentioned labor unions, that's the only really strong commentary I've had on the charter yet was for a very active IBEW official who said that he was asked at the last executive board meeting what he thought of the charter, and he had read the entire thing. And he said he would recommend not endorsing it and not recommending that their members support it. The primary reason being that he felt there should have been something right in the Bill of Rights that specified employees will have the right to vote.
A lot of right to work law in the Bill of Rights.
One or the other.
They've got the right
And
in the
there were-
Bill of Rights.
No, I'm just mentioning this because I think it might be a good thing if
follow up
maybe,
on.
yeah,
This
Pat
is
could
Ike,
follow
is
up.
it?
No, this is Jack
Ike
Danahy.
isn't that brilliant.
Jack who?
Jack Danahy.
I think someone should work with them.
For the right to vote, or did he say, how did he
He said
mean that, right?
what he felt was they ought to have the right to vote on whether or not they want to be represented.
The right to organize.
Or the right to organize, whether or not they want to.
Which they do under state law. They have it under state law, which Ryan does, is that right, Rick? As far as I know.
The other thing he was concerned about was he thought from his reading of this, and I tried several times to explain it, I felt differently about it, but he thought from his reading of it that the service areas, in other words, like in Girdwood, whatever services we have now under our city will become a service district. And he thought, the way he read the charter, that they would be controlled by the community councils,
Oh,
No,
which
no.
was
He
going to
hasn't
get
read anything but the
No,
first version.
he read
of
the
this
first
charter.
Somebody ought to get to this
It was
version.
the final version.
Yeah.
But anyway, aside from actually talking with him about it, because he lives in Homer now and he's not going to be voting anyway, I think it might be appropriate to contact either the IBEW or COPE.
We
to
could set up
see if we
charter
could get
committee meetings.
Pat, why don't you set up a presentation to them,
Well,
to
we
the
could do
IB?
it, we could do it for each one of them like we're doing for the Republican Club or any of the
Too
rest.
bad.
yeah, I think we should make.
At their membership meeting, let's ask if we can get time on their program. I'll go down and talk to the IB.
Even 5 minutes.
Ike Waldrop was on the unification committee back in '67 or something like that. And I think probably understands the problem pretty well.
He should, but you know, sometimes you say good morning, Mike, and he's stuck for an answer.
Yeah, I go to Charlie Sells, I think might be good people to contact and set up something
Well, I
for
gave Henry a
someone in
copy
the
of the
group.
thing, the Xerox.
Well, Henry Hedberg's always been a
Okay,
supporter.
let's go back to
Questions?
this one. Do we have any other ideas for this introduction part?
Because then once you write it, you're going to have to cut it.
Well, do you want to eliminate that stuff on top that says we're diverse? Or,
No.
I hope not. And it says,
No, I don't know who put this together. And
I have the pride of authorship.
all right, now then,
Can we
I
hear
was
you?
going to say no offense at anybody, but I am, I think I'm a great craftsman too on writing, but why don't you and Rick go over it again together? He has a certain oleaginous flowing style.
Oh, dear, Jim. Where did you get that word?
Using charm from every pore, he oiled his way across the floor.
It's mostly been found to have
You
been
should listen to him on
With that, I'm going to get some chicken soup.
It's tangential, Rick.
Okay. Any other suggestions on that? We've got, the things to include are,
He oozed right out of the room on that one, you see?
public meetings, our experts included bond counsel, administrators from both governments, the
where are you?
churches, and I am just recapping what people have suggested.
Oh, I thought you were reading up to it.
party, people.
Onward and upward, Jane.
Carry on, Jane.
Wait, let's go back to voting for question number 1.
No, I was with you.
No, you weren't.
I didn't
You
hear
weren't
a word
with me.
you said.
I was merely trying to recap
Let's go,
what we
recap.
had talked about in relation to the first part, and that we would include, that we had that really the public hearings was probably the most important one that we participated in, as well as our experts included bond counsel, legal counsel, public officials from both governments.
That's too general for me. I think we should say,
Don't call them experts, call them consultants.
Okay.
Now get away from that text.
but the
Yeah,
public
don't
officials
use
kind of
that
thing,
word.
that,
Call them consultants.
administrators for both the city and the borough.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The poll, the review of charters from other cities throughout the country, all those things. Anything else? I just said the poll. I also think that we ought to talk about, in the end, down here, that they can call and ask other questions, and that the election will be held on September 9th. And we encourage you to review this document so that you can vote, informed, and incorporating the idea that our names appear on it. Okay, question number 1 on the second page is, why do we need a new government? What I'd like you to do is decide whether or not you like the question, whether you think it's worthwhile that we ask that particular question, and then go into the answer. So, how many people like this question?
I do.
I don't, the way it's worded?
I like the question, asking the question.
Okay. Now as for the answer.
It's not the preamble.
My feeling is that I don't want the preamble there. And that's my notes on that, which suggests that something that describes the status quo with two governments who are duplicating services, which is often confusing and expensive, and that those might be the two biggest reasons why you would want a different kind of government. Confusing to the taxpayer and expensive. The costly equipment and space can be utilized more economically if two governments' planning can be quickened through one government process. Residents need deal only with one government unit. And I would just drop all reference to the preamble. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, I kind of go along with
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can eliminate the word government a couple of times, not a positive.
You dropped the first 6 lines of the answer?
Yes.
Okay, can we change the question to read, why do we need a unified government?
No, not unified. That unified is still kit and province.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
We don't want to use it anywhere we can avoid it.
We used it in this deal, and
What's that?
my suggestion we did. Basically, because for the proposed new government, just somehow.
What's that, Frank?
That's for later on in our report.
Anyway,
Let's do this first. Any suggestions on answer to why do we need a new government?
Because of the rapid growth that Anchorage is sustaining you need a consolidated form of management, but I guess you're answering that.
Well,
Talking
go
about
to
the
Chicago.
strife between the existing governments.
On the number 2, I think that if you could eliminate that bigger in the question,
Okay, let's finish number 1 first. Or does that relate to this one, Mary?
well,
If you could just,
With
I think it sort of goes in with the answer between the 2. It's
I
just going on
think
with
the
the
logical answer to number 1 in addition is with the rapid population growth, we are becoming one area
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the
That's what I was
problems,
trying to get
with
at.
similar
Something-
problems.
Something like that, yeah.
the problems are spreading.
Right. Right.
Which way are they going?
Bigger.
With rapid population growth, the community needs to be able to tackle their problems on a unified front, I think, or with we're becoming closer
The Anchorage Bowl
Rapidly becoming
needs to be
urban.
considered as one government unit.
When
Well,
you
one
say
government.
Anchorage Bowl,
That
you're
is your
leaving-
answer.
You're leaving out Girdwood and
You're leaving out Eagle River.
I don't know, somehow I love that the needs of people don't respect political lines, somehow.
That's a much better answer.
Very good.
That's a heck of a lot better answer.
Use that.
Yeah.
Respect political
Use that.
division.
keep it short, but answer the question.
Right.
That's a lot better answer.
Answer a question with a question.
Yeah. Well, why have 2 governments?
Don't,
That's
the
what a
needs
lawyer
of people
does.
don't follow
Don't
arbitrary
respect
Political lines.
political lines.
Don't follow arbitrary, I'd say, but that's not
That's a big word.
arbitrary political lines. Or something
I
like that.
can't write in committees.
Where are you on the first one now with what you
Large
think?
photograph.
Okay,
God,
We can eliminate duplication.
I hope so.
Post office today, I couldn't get rid of
why do we need a new government?
I found that
We
same
need a new
thing.
government. Okay, now, there's 2 parts to this question. We have to describe the status quo so that somebody who doesn't know we got a problem recognizes it. So that the first phrase should be, with 2 governments, we are duplicating services, which is often confusing and expensive to the taxpayer. Costly equipment and space can be utilized more economically with one government, or with,
Thank you.
planning can be quickened through one government process.
That's
Residents
kind of
need
I
to
don't
deal
like that
only
one.
with,
Because,
Can
yeah.
be
We
not
got
quicker,
a lot.
but,
Well, we already
Hastened,
have one
expedited,
level of planning. It's that each, we haven't accomplished things. We've been able to plan, but we haven't been able to implement the plans because of the division. And this quickening it somehow doesn't do it for me.
now look at the word you want to use.
Planning can be implemented
Yes,
with a
that's
one
what it
government
means.
process.
Yeah, readily implemented or
can be-
something like that. Can be readily implemented, can be expeditiously implemented.
I don't know.
Man, you're a good
Sure.
adjective adverb man. I can see
how
that.
about through one decision-making process versus government?
Less money.
25-cent beer.
Yeah.
Nickel beer.
The last part of that particularly
I'm not
appeals to me
utopia.
as being a person from Girdwood, where you say residents
Yeah, I
can
like
deal
that,
only
too.
with one government unit, because the borough is fairly responsive to us anymore. But there also is the hassle of when you come in to get licenses and permits and things like that, you still have to go back and forth between the city and the borough. And I think this is one thing that would appeal
Yeah.
from that end.
And then the last line is that the needs of people don't follow arbitrary political lines. We should all
Why do
be,
you not respect political lines?
the needs of people do not follow,
Arbitrary.
are not dictated to. The needs of people,
The language was, with population growth, the needs of people do not respect political lines.
that doesn't make
I
sense.
think political lines is just as plain as anything.
It's very expressive, political lines. I think everybody, it connotates right away what you're trying to say.
There you go.
It
Well,
just says
it is-
people needs override political needs, that's what it says, and that's,
Yeah.
that's a catchphrase, which is a good ringer.
Yeah,
That is a good phrase.
Do it.
do
Well,
it.
that's fine.
Cast
Say it exactly that way. People needs
Frame it,
override.
as they say in motion pictures, frame it.
People needs override
The
political.
needs of the people be not respectful of the land.
What's that the music? We got
That's
it.
what we said earlier.
You said.
The needs of, but, okay, I personally don't think that the word respect is very good because it's
Why don't you hammer that out?
I'd say follow.
Yeah, let's
people
get on
needs
with the
override
next
political.
I shot my court.
You did a nice job. Okay, question number 2.
That's offensive.
How can this
You've got that the way it is.
X or eliminate bigger?
Popular court
It's
issue.
not
I don't know, I would,
Don't say anything that implies that the new government's gonna be large or larger. You know, I would, I would say, how can this consolidated,
just,
I
I
don't- I
wouldn't put in
wouldn't
the
use
adjective.
unified.
I don't know what adjective.
how can this government be more responsible? I wouldn't
Just
say
leave the bigger
larger.
out. Just leave the bigger out.
Yeah,
Okay.
take that out,
People are
because
worried about that, all right?
people are trying to get a smaller government rather than a bigger one.
Okay,
Cut
now,
out the first
I
sentence, too.
think the first
How
line
can
is.
this smaller
it's just
government
no.
And how can this efficient, more responsive government be responsive?
Yeah.
Just leave out
All
the
right.
bigger.
All
The
right.
questions aren't then.
How about the answer?
First sentence gotta go.
I agree.
Me too.
And I think you can add to that second one, you can add,
Isn't that true, though?
No.
no, dang it, you don't.
Even if you eliminate one city attorney, it's true.
But don't put
Attorney
one
doesn't
in.
feel that way.
You know, you're gonna put two together and smaller, you might get.
Can't we say,
You eliminate
Like,
one
don't
city
wanna make
manager.
any
will
wrong
the government be more responsive?
No, because you're gonna hire them all.
And say yes, and then explain how?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just, will the
Change
government,
question to
will the government be more responsive? And then your
yeah,
first
I
answer
think
is
that
yes.
yes, no is good.
will this.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Do we need a new government? You know, for the first one, yes, because.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think
got
that's
it.
good because.
Do we need a new
Yes.
government? Yes. Then
Yes.
explanation.
Yes.
Will this government be more responsive to me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Personalize it wherever you can, that's good.
To me, yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
It will be more responsive to each resident because of the adoption of community councils, smaller assembly districts in the office of ombudsman. I
I don't particularly
Don't
think that's
mention
true.
assembly districts.
agree.
Yeah, but I think you could
Take out
add in,
assembly districts.
Smaller districts, huh?
with due deference to
No,
Mary, I
yeah.
think we should put in initiative and referendum here, because we, you know, that's.
Enrico.
Mary.
Smaller and...
I hope she believes in
Take it out.
it or not.
Take it out, don't use it.
Don't use what?
Districts.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, how are we? Okay. How many people want smaller assembly districts struck?
Not I.
How
Yes.
about-
I do.
Or strike assembly, but leave smaller districts.
No.
Smaller, what kind of districts?
No, no.
That is a compromise thing. I don't think you want to go around that. You know, some people feel that's just a lot, that.
They are, though, aren't they?
No,
They're smaller than they are right now,
Well, they're
yeah.
smaller, but
But
that
they're
doesn't
not
necessarily
small.
mean good to some people.
It, to the survey does. The Rowan report indicates that people wanted smaller districts.
But
That's the only reason it's
Well-
in there.
maybe when people think of a district, maybe they only think of a precinct.
Well, that could be.
What else have we done to make it
Most people
smaller?
reading this won't know what you're talking
The
about.
assembly can't do action between 12 and 7, but we
Yeah,
got
you
that later.
on.
One government answering to all of the people.
It's not necessarily a guarantee.
What other things have we done in there that are people? Conflict interest would have been
Service
there,
areas.
would it? Yeah, but service areas can do it now, but it sets it, you know, they can do now under state law what
Well,
they
no, we
say.
spent a lot of time, a half
Well,
hour
now,
on
wait a
television the
minute.
other
The
night
service
explaining to
areas,
people why it was going to be more responsive.
service
We ought to be able
areas
to
are
come
not
up with
government.
some reason
And
why.
I watched you guys too.
If you're using the word government in strict sense, you're not talking about service areas, because that service area is what it says, it's a service, it's not a government, it's part of the government, the service that you're getting. But come back a minute, or how about a paid professional manager? You're gonna use a professional manager
How is that
to
more
run things,
responsive?
aren't you?
Yeah. How's that more responsive to me?
That's more efficient, right?
That's efficient.
And this-
Really?
Well, how about the fact that you will have, I don't know how you word it, but you have a smaller headquarters, a single headquarters unit to go to. rather
One-
than,
The buck stops at one place.
yeah, but we got, that's your story. You got
Okay.
one,
You know, that's a complete answer in itself, right there, the whole
The
question.
buck stops at one place.
Yeah, you don't have to say any more.
only one buck to pass.
You know, you'd be better off with that answer than anything else.
Because how about if we just said because of community councils and not say the adoption of? Because of community councils, the Office of Ombudsman, and the fact that you only have to deal with one government. Is that what you mean? By the buck stops here?
I like the dramatic better. The buck
And you
stops
got
at one place.
one,
The buck stops.
Deal with only one
We don't know,
government.
this
and
community
the
council
buck
may be the
stops
biggest
there.
failure that's
Okay.
hit this country.
And that's literally and figuratively. It's
Yeah.
in passing the buck, and it's also in paying the buck. Stop
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, why don't we use the dramatic side
and the
and
buck
get away
stops
from this
there.
stuff? Yeah,
No, the buck stops at one place.
the one place.
well, we gotta explain what that means though, see.
No, I don't know what it means.
Okay,
No.
but the way Frank said it is, and you deal with only one government and the buck stops there.
That's fine. I
That's
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Down here where we talked about community
That's
councils
after
and
the
the
ombudsman.
ombudsman, do we want to make, define like we have here what these things
I don't
are? I
think
don't think
so.
we should
I don't think
because
So,
it's
No.
more print and
Well, wait, now, we got enough room to do things, and I think there's been enough conversation about community councils that people are still a little confused about it.
Most people think it's another layer of government that's being sandwiched in there.
Well, how do you feel? I think we should address what it is.
I don't think you should say that it will work together to do certain things, but it can. I mean, I think we need to get away from,
so why can't we go to a question that says, well, what are community councils? If there's all questions about it, instead of lengthening one question and, making it really lengthy.
I think she's right on
Yeah,
that.
the impact is terrific because the question is being asked, how can it be more responsive? And you're coming right back with a very direct answer. The buck stops at one place.
So that you would suggest
Now you
that
can
it
go
should
some
read.
other place and talk about these community councils, but don't cloud the answer with it. You got an excellent answer there.
Okay, so it reads, will this government be more responsive to me? Yes. It will be more responsive to each resident because of community councils, the Office of Ombudsman, and you deal with only one government and the buck stops there. Period.
Not even eliminate everything and just say the buck stops
I
at
think
one place.
I'd even quit short of the community councils and the ombudsman.
No.
Now look, you.
Then I'd
you-
go on and have other questions on those two.
Right, you could put that in, just about, you're dealing with only one government in one question, and the buck stops there, and then you can say, that question, where will you deal with one government? What manner will you deal with one government, or how will one what channels,
Where could you
Well,
put your input?
what channels are open in this government for us, or for me?
what can.
Now, if we're going to follow the same format, we need a yes/no question.
How,
Are there community councils?
are there ways for people to work with the government or?
Oh, goodness.
Great.
Can I, as an individual, get input into this?
Are there ways for people to work?
Yes.
Are there
Community
ways?
councils.
Are there ways for me?
can I make my voice heard?
How can I be
Can I, as
heard?
an individual,
I like
be
what
heard?
you said.
Yes.
How can I be heard would be a question.
Can I be heard?
Yeah, that would be the question. How can I be heard?
Can I
Then
be
you can
heard
go to,
in the government?
you can go to community council as a map maker and all that business.
Can I be heard by this one government?
Matchmaker.
Matchmaker.
By this single government?
How can I be heard?
No, it's got to be a yes/no.
Can you be?
Can
Yes.
I be heard?
How can I
Can
be
I
heard?
be? Should it say, can I as an individual be heard by this government? No.
Double.
Can I be heard by this single government?
I just might mention this, Phyllis warned against this
Pick up some, Frank.
in thinking that print has a kind of a solid reflection to it, and it's taken too lightly. It loses, she says, it loses a certain appeal for credibility accountability or solidarity. She seems to think that people finally go to printed word for finality on anything they really want all the answers on. And her thought was if it got into the how can I do this and yes you can, it starts telling and it loses its solidarity. If that's the way you understood what she was saying this afternoon. Is that what you got from her?
Okay, but I see. She said, yeah, you're right.
She, who are you talking about?
Phyllis Bradner is the person who's helping me put this together.
I just threw that out.
Her dealings with communications type stuff have dealt primarily with campaigns on other things, on people. And she maintains that the print, is, as he suggests, the final place where you go to get information. But I don't think that by asking simple questions and giving simple answers and asking more questions that we are detracting from that. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm not debating it. She just gave me the mommy may I syndrome. Yes, you may, which is not quite as I don't like the word austere, but it doesn't quite.
Okay, but I don't know that we necessarily have to be that austere. There's going to be, there's already a document that they can go and read if they want to. That's the.
The point is, from a general public viewpoint, you want to be short and to the point. You don't want to rewrite the charter in these questions or use charter language.
Okay, but you
You wanna get
have
away.
to give a fact
Yeah.
for everyone, and not just cute sayings.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
I think we
That's
need
right.
to avoid cuteness, and there needs to be something solid,
Something
even though it's
substantial
said
that
very
they can get
directly.
into.
Now, a normal question would be
Right.
the one we're asking. The guy saying, how can I be heard?
Okay, then
That's a normal
do you
question.
want to depart from the format of asking a yes/no question?
No, I don't think that's necessary. If you give something solid after you said
How
yes or
can I
no.
be heard or can I be heard?
Yeah, I
Very
be
normal
heard.
question, and it's a question
Can I
he
be
says
heard
in
by
the
this
Well,
single
then
government?
hell no.
Yes.
It's up to
Through
you.
community councils.
It's up to you.
There are many ways of community council.
Okay, and with many areas, we've set forth required public hearings, and I don't know if you want to
Public
cover that.
hearings.
But it's up to them.
Public hearings. Well, yeah, but
It's up to them to get into the community councils. It's
But-
up to them to go to the ombudsman.
People,
Yeah, but they don't know these things exist. See,
well, I
at this
think
point, they
rather
don't know they
than
exist.
putting the responsibility on them, they want to know if we've provided them a vehicle to do
The
that.
avenue, and we
Yes.
have to say yes and tell
By using community councils, by taking part in public hearings, by getting information on how to from the ombudsman.
and voting.
By contacting your ombudsman, by contacting your assembly,
By your area
Voting?
assemblyman.
by
Voting?
voting.
Okay. We're using community.
What is the question on the exam? What is asphalt? Disease of the rectum?
Okay, community councils are neighborhood people working together for mutual ends. Where are we from there?
Toward mutual ends, or
Working
toward
together
mutual
toward.
objectives.
Objectives, yeah.
Toward mutual objectives are better.
Toward mutual objectives.
Might be drafted, I better read this.
Working together.
You better.
Man, what an hour we
Really
had.
come on and burn your nose.
That's right. The enemy were in the lobby. They might be ringing my doorbell.
Okay, do you want these groups will work together to improve your neighborhood, your block, your community with direct input to the representatives?
I
Yeah, I
knocked
like
out
that.
block and community.
We don't use block here in terms of the city, big cities, some do.
Okay, so how does it read now? Community councils are neighborhood people working together toward mutual objectives.
Period.
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 That's it. That's all.
That's
Go too far, I think.
That's enough.
Sure
No.
enough.
Enough.
The longer it gets,
The more complicated it
and the
is.
less they read.
Wait a minute, now we've gotten awfully good response from people when we give them examples of what the present community councils can do. They can deal either on government issues or just providing places for people to come together and talk about their neighborhood.
Okay.
They aren't confined to dealing with government.
Yeah, well, you could say that
Mutual
the
objectives. We have to
mutual
say what they have.
objections
That has
range
too
in
much of a ring of bureaucratic
Yeah, it really does.
management objectives. Which are
working
fine
together,
for
working
management
together
corrective action
on,
Mutual
plans.
goal.
To solve
Future
mutual
goals.
problems?
to solve mutual problems, working together to
Community problems?
Mutual concerns.
neighbor.
I would accept neighborhood concerns.
Okay, community councils are neighborhood
Yeah.
people working together
To solve neighborhood concerns.
to solve, no, to solve community, to solve mutual problems.
To improve their community, to improve.
It sounds like the Kiwanis Club.
There's not always problems, there are opportunities too, and I don't know, that's kind of sensible.
Neighborhood people working together
To improve
for the
quality
betterment
of
of their
life.
neighborhood.
Oh, boy,
To improve the quality of
No.
life.
that's nice.
So better than management grid.
Management grid.
That's what the other
To
reflects.
do what they want.
To do their own
To
thing?
do their thing.
No. Working together to address neighborhood concerns,
I like your to solve mutual.
together
Good
to
as anything come by.
solve mutual problems.
Sorry, we've lost Fred to the draft.
Community councils are neighborhood
Yeah.
people working together to solve mutual problems.
Mutual problems of the neighborhood.
To encourage neighborhood involvement. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a
Work
problem.
together to
There you
solve
go.
mutual, to encourage neighborhood involvement. We've got too many neighborhoods.
To encourage neighborhood involvement.
It's just the thing.
Well, we really want a place where people can get together and talk about any damn thing they want to.
But you don't have a place.
The thing that comes up in my mind, and I'd like to get it in, it's the town meeting concept.
It's people interaction is what the whole concept is about.
People meeting people.
Or to encourage neighborhood solving neighborhood problems.
Is a neighborhood,
It could be bigger, little Frank.
yeah, no, isn't it? What was your point there, Jim?
The town hall.
Is a neighborhood town hall approach.
Yeah.
That's fine. Go on and say for working on mutual
Sure.
objectives. It's a neighborhood town hall approach. That's a perfectly good explanation.
And it's one people understand, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so say it again. Community councils
All right, you've said who they are and what
are
they
neighborhood
are and
people
where
who
they
come
are.
together to solve mutual problems
In a town hall
and
manner?
share information. and
Using the
share-
town hall approach.
Yeah.
Share information using the town hall approach.
Sure.
Using a town hall.
Share,
approach.
share issues, share observations,
Share
share.
information and
I
thoughts.
don't think you have to add that.
No,
because
you don't have
The
to.
town hall approach is just that.
That's
It's a
it.
community meeting in the,
To solve
the
mutual
town
problems
hall.
in a town hall approach.
Instead of Tammany Hall.
Yeah, instead of family.
We'll make you that distinction too.
Community councils are neighborhood people who come
There you go,
together to
Democrats.
solve mutual problems in a town hall.
approach.
Oh, sounds funny.
Maybe they share interests
Yeah.
and thoughts
Now, I don't know whether you studied your New England history.
instead of problems.
My
Town hall
forefather
approach is
Instead of saying, mutual
absorbed all of that.
share,
To share opinions
to share
and work
interests
on,
and thoughts,
Rights and powers.
to share interests.
and thoughts.
All right, I think we've gotten a skeleton to that one. I think it can be left.
We killed it, okay. How about the ombudsman? Yeah.
Skeleton.
How about the ombudsman?
Charter to the government red tape. They go to bat for you in a knowledgeable manner and can save time in getting your problem solved.
To me,
I
that
like
sounds
that.
good.
That baseball players getting to you, huh, Pat?
We're creating, otherwise known
That
as
baseball
Superman.
players having an impact on you.
Save time of your
Okay.
assemblyman.
He's out doing it tonight.
How do you feel about the way the ombudsman's written?
I like it.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
it's
any,
horrible.
any large
It's a bunch of
dissension?
junk.
So
That's
do
some
you.
new rule.
Let's start all over.
Okay, here we are on question 3.
It's all right.
At the wheel on 3.
What put it in there?
Throw it out.
Oh,
We need a
phrase
yes/no question. What is the apportionment? No.
Do we need to stick to yes, no all the way through, or can we
No,
spice it
Yeah,
up?
let's do it if you're doing it.
I think we should try it, if it's possible.
Do I need an apportionment district plan?
Why is the question, why are we
In
gonna put it
addition
in
to
there?
metropolitan life?
Jim?
Why a new apportionment?
Somebody announced me. Bill
Is there a new apportionment plan?
Is there a new apportionment?
How will the members of the assembly be elected? Will?
Is there a new apportionment?
Does the charter's apportionment plan
What type of
improve
representation?
representation?
What?
Does
No,
the
that's
charter's
loaded.
apportionment plan improve representation or something
I
of
don't
that
think you
sort?
want to answer that.
Maybe you don't want the question then,
I
right?
think,
Do we want to say we have an apportionment plan and there's
Yeah.
5 two-man
Everybody
districts?
disagree with it.
Or you don't want the question at all?
I don't,
I don't. I don't.
unless you want to just do fact finding to say what it
Boy,
is.
if I got you folks sore in hell on that question. It's not that big a question out in the
I'm sorry, but I think they ought to have an idea of what their districts are now.
You can say, what is the apportionment plan, and put apportionment in quotes.
And just say yes.
Say,
How about, is there a new apportionment
Is
plan?
there an apportionment plan?
Is an apportionment plan included in the charter?
Yes.
Something, but make it factual, not saying this is the
No.
best of all worlds.
Is there an apportionment district plan? Yes.
Apportionment district plan?
I don't want a district, just an apportionment.
Apportionment
I
plan.
don't think
Okay.
you want to answer yes to every question.
I think
either.
that the question that is interesting more people
Is
right
the
now
apportionment plan the same? No.
Yes. I think that is the question. That's about what I was going to say. Is this the same apportionment plan that the borough has been using?
Is
No.
The borough out.
Okay, is the apportionment plan the same?
Is
Period.
what?
Or is there a new apportionment plan?
Is
Well,
there,
we want to be able to say no to
Oh, I
this one.
see.
Is
Well, we can say no to other ones and then change them around.
Well, the new apportionment plan
it's-
changed my representation.
If you could say,
Will the new apportionment
to
plan
know.
change my representation?
If you want to get to a no answer, you're going to have to say it like she said it a moment ago. Is the apportionment plan the same?
The same that I'm
You
used
can answer
to.
no, and then you can go ahead and say
The
what.
same that I know and love.
Does the charter give you the same old apportionment plan?
That's a little editorial.
even saying, can create a negative sense. If
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
trying to
and
get an
that
answer that
bothers
says
me.
yes.
this, you'll be able to say yes. Is this
This is
the
like-
same three assemblyman district plan? No, has only 2 assemblymen.
Yeah, but no, but that's,
How about, we'll answer yes to this one and worry about a no later. Is there a apportionment plan in the charter?
yeah, something a positive.
We can always change the questions around.
And then just say
Put 'em
it
in.
provides for.
Yes, you have to have one to be able to elect your representatives along with the charter.
Five-member districts and one single member.
Yes, the new apportionment plan is one of the 5 plans that the commission considered. Now I'm going to change this. It is a compromise among the 5 plans and gives recognition to the Chugai Eagle River by providing for 1 representative. I don't know if you want to get into Eagle River.
You want to cut that whole answer out, small.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
There are 5.
There are 5 two-member
two-man
districts and
and
one
one
single
one-man
member.
district.
Do you want to say that the one is the Eagle River District?
That part of it's already.
One single-member
factual.
district
Yeah,
for
that's
Eagle River.
okay.
Eagle River, part portion of Muldoon,
Wanting a balanced
Fort
representation.
Rich, Eagle River.
5 two-man districts.
Remember,
Okay, 5 two-member districts
Yeah, that's a boy.
and 1 single-member district for Eagle River.
Muldoon and Fort Ridge.
No,
No, just Eagle River.
There's part of Muldoon down there.
I know, but I don't. That,
It's Dave Minnick.
which gives added recognition.
It very
No.
clearly says including Eagle River, Shugak, and Fort
Nope.
Ridge. It doesn't say anything about Muldoon.
so it reads.
It's the only part that shows.
It reads.
No one's such a horrible
Is there
It
an
does
apportionment?
include part of Muldoon?
Of course.
Just a teeny little
Is
bit.
there an apportionment plan?
Sneaky.
The question
Rocket.
now reads: Is there an apportionment plan in the charter? Yes. There are 5 two-member.
I think you better get in there, yes. It is necessary in order to
I
elect
didn't even show
officials
that.
with the charter.
There are 5
I
two-member
can
districts.
sit here and
one
tell you where
single
Fifth
member
Avenue
district.
is, and you're gonna.
But it isn't necessary. You could have an apportionment plan without electing the official.
It is necessary to elect the officials with the charter. You have to have an apportionment plan if you're
Only,
going to elect
oh,
officials with
that's
the
under
charter.
our assumptions about that. I don't
In
know.
order to elect the
In
official.
order
The new
to elect
apportionment
officials
plan
along with the
has
charter.
5 two-member districts, 1 single-member district for Eagle River. And then they see the map. Okay? Do you want to get any broader than that?
Well, you gotta bring in Chugiak and Fort Rich. You can't just put Eagle River, or you'll get people in Chugiak.
Eagle River, Chugiak.
Fort Rich, Muldoon, and Cucamonga.
Part of the Eagle River Chugiak Borough, for instance, you don't need to say that.
You don't need to say Fort Rich, but you jolly well better say Chugiak.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
Azusa has
there are
been
5
included.
two-member districts and 1 single-member district for Eagle River, Chugiak.
How many people?
For the Eagle River, Chugiak area.
Because
That'll do it.
1,200's all registered off of the bases, I believe.
Okay, anything else on that one?
That's by me.
I still think that you ought to have something in there that explains why you're including a portion of it along with the charter.
Okay, I disagree with you. Does
I don't
anybody
think so.
else?
I don't think anybody out there really cares.
No, it's not a question of caring. I think it's confusing.
And we have to talk
The next
about
question.
Mal.
How will the new government affect the Chugiak Eagle River area?
Boy, this one really bothers you.
Why are we putting that in?
Because Eagle River is one of the concerns identified by Rowan. And he also indicated that there was a lot of support for Eagle River having gotten gypped by us in our court case. And he
You
would
know,
like to
it's-
quell the tide on that.
It's not true that Chugiak Eagle River will be free to stay in the government or leave, depending on the wishes of its residents.
No, that's not
It's
true.
not true. The
Depending
state-
on what? What's the criteria?
Well,
What the local boundary
the
commission-
local boundary.
Boundary Commission, legislature, and local vote,
Yeah.
Well, could we just
and
leave-
possibly a vote of the Anchorage area according to the opinion.
just cross out depending on the wishes of its residents?
But
Well, no.
No, that's
that
really,
whole
okay.
sentence is bad.
Okay, can't we say?
Strike the whole third
Is it-
How
sentence.
about
Yep.
Yeah.
the question? Do you like the idea that we have a question on Eagle River in here?
I don't think it'll hurt us if it's worded right.
We're being partisan.
Third and fourth one,
But I almost think if you do have one, it ought to be a direct question that will it impact their,
The efforts of the
those who
Okay.
establish
Chugiak
Yeah,
Eagle
will the
River are
charter
not
prevent the
hampered
Eagle River
by...
Chugiak area from establishing a borough?
an
Okay,
independent borough.
I think that's
Or
good.
how does the charter
No,
affect
no,
Eagle
will.
River?
You can do this.
Will the new charter
Remember, yes, no, yeah.
prohibit
Yeah.
Does the new government affect the Chugiak?
No.
Prohibit, yeah.
Will the new charter,
Will
will the
adoption
new
of the
government,
charter prevent a new borough in Eagle River Chugiak?
Yeah, that's better. I don't like that.
Right, won't get you a yes.
No.
Oh, no's all right.
okay,
No,
now,
no.
somebody repeat it to me? Will the adoption of the charter,
Prevent a new government in Eagle River Chugiak, or an independent borough in Eagle River Chugiak.
I think you could say an independent borough.
in the Eagle River Chugiak area?
But I think your answer's got to be careful. We haven't got an answer.
He can word it.
Will the adoption of the charter prevent creation of a borough, of an independent borough in the Eagle River Chugiak area?
Then
No.
You know, in a way, that's a pretty tricky thing. We go around saying, well, somebody from the local boundary commission said no, but they're just really a part of it. And you can't tell either the attitudes of the people or the legislature or anything else as to whether they'll be impacted.
Well, the
I
answer
mean,
should be that the adoption of the charter poses no legal barrier.
no
to-
legal barriers. I think
something
in a
of that
way
sort.
you start to get into that realm of conning because things are as we perceive them, and I think
That's right, because if the
Yeah.
charter passes, it's going to affect whether an Eagle
yeah,
River
it
borough
really is. Let's not kid ourselves. And I think
Is
that we
formed or
need
not,
to say
I'm
that
quite certain.
legally we're I think you're
I think Rick's answer that it
that's the
gives
wording.
no
Okay,
legal
the
barrier.
adoption of the charter poses no legal barrier to the formation of a borough in Eagle River. The formation of a separate borough.
yeah. I really think we can go too far on the other and
Mhm.
we lose credibility. And boy, we're a credible bunch.
But we answer in
Except
two
for Muldoon.
I think you could just as well, I think you could just as well say Girdwood too on that.
No, I really
I would
innocently
just
thought that
think
Muldoon
it'd
was
be better to leave out any
55.
reference to Eagle River Chugiak or anything. Just say poses no legal barrier
That's only
to
like,
What about,
the formation.
can part of the borough form a separate borough
you know, like
once unified?
Colonel and everything like
I think that leave it open like that so that it could fly either to Girdwood or Eagle River or Chugach would be better.
I think Girdwood identifies right away with what Eagle River is doing, and I think the issue right now is Eagle River.
Can we have just one conversation at a time?
I think if you open it up to just saying separate boroughs can be formed or people can be independent after this is passed, what you're really saying is this is just a stopgap measure, you know, and everybody can do their thing afterwards. I really think that Eagle River Chugach is the issue right now. They've got a lawsuit in court before the Supreme Court.
It reads, will the adoption of the charter prevent an independent borough, prevent the formation of an independent borough in the Eagle River Chugach area? No, the adoption of the charter poses no legal barrier to the formation of a separate borough in Eagle River.
Well, we can explain it more if you want to. I could work on this a little bit. You can go on to say that the final result will depend on action of the Boundary Commission. And
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's good. I think that, you know, makes it, again,
The response,
put a little meat in there.
the responsibility rests with the local boundary commission established by the state government.
Mhm.
And the people affected. And if you just say the people affected, it affects both
Yeah,
the
but
Eagle
not-
River and the other, and there's some question as to whether they'll have to have a
Affect
vote
us.
of the people in the Anchorage area as well as the Eagle River area.
That's the little blurb that Connors threw into the opinion when he ruled that the Eagle River Borough, the Supreme Court guy who wrote the opinion on the validity of the Eagle River Borough was kind of off the cuff running through the requirements for setting up a borough, and he said it requires vote of the people, boundary commission decision, legislative acquiescence, and maybe a vote in Anchorage because it's a boundary change for Anchorage as well as an
I've
incorporation.
often thought this is kind of an interesting thing. Just like in the case of annexation law, you know, you let
Right.
them vote. but-
Okay,
Well, I don't
the
know
way
how
it
long
reads
it
now
is. You know, no, really, it just seems.
is, will the adoption of the charter prevent an independent borough from forming in the Eagle River Chugach area? No, the adoption of the charter poses no legal barrier to the formation of a separate borough in Eagle River. The decision rests with the local boundary commission established by state law and the people in the affected area. People in that community.
Put the legislature in as a sort of a parenthetical
Local
after.
boundary commission established by state law, the legislature.
Yeah, and then
And the people
Can
in the
we
affected area.
just put is made by the state of Alaska and local residents?
No.
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 And local legislature and the residents of Eagle River.
It isn't just the residents of Eagle River. That's what I'm pointing out to you.
Okay.
We're
And
in
the people affected. That's
And the
loose
people
enough.
affected, that's loose enough, and that's being truthful.
Okay.
Don't be
Okay.
untruthful.
Question number 5.
no.
Number 5.
Question is, will my taxes go up or down under the new government?
I don't know.
Thank you for that succinct.
What if you said I don't know? We don't know.
That's what we end up saying.
Yeah,
That's a poor answer to say you don't know.
Okay, all we're saying though is that Bob Atwood doesn't know either.
Yeah, that's not a
And
bad
neither
idea.
does the borough, and neither does the city, and neither does the
But
city.
you don't want to
But I
say
think
that
we
because
That is an awful answer.
you're discrediting these people. They could take objection.
All right. First of all, how about the question? The question has to do with.
I think that you definitely need a question, but it
On
should.
taxes.
Yeah, but you should respond to say that you're bringing, you know, here's the one where you tried to answer it with this next one. You want to say that you're preserving equities as much as you can, that you are new services and the new taxes will only be upon a vote of the people, that we're hopeful that, you know, that as the departments are brought together, the attrition of employees, you know, that you may reduce employees and that sort of a thing, but not to get into this that we looked for an answer and we couldn't find one.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
Okay,
bad.
but what about if we address first the thing about, you know, services and about roads and, you know, will I be receiving more services
Yeah.
and have to pay for them? You know, like a guy today at work, he asked me, well, you know, with this, will I have to pay for roads now? And I said, well, do you have, you know, I said, he doesn't have, he's not maintained by the state,
And
he's
people
not
want
maintained
police
by the
now.
borough.
Yeah, am I going to have police?
Well, she's got that and other stuff.
Yeah.
He said, you know, I said, no, only if you vote and say, yes, I want to be maintained by the government. then it
Right.
will be, otherwise, no.
Well, she's got
Will
that.
my
You know what the answer
services and taxes be
Now, wait a minute,
affected by the
let's
new
stay
tax?
with number 5. Let's not get into services yet.
Well,
You got
okay.
services a little
And the
later.
real question in number 5, I think, is will my taxes go up?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Let
I
me try this for size with you.
We said,
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a comment on that. I think we've got this question 5 out of order. I think it should come after we've answered the services question, because you can answer it shorter after you've answered the services question.
All right, Fred,
should
what
we
do you
move
guys
on
think?
to,
I was going to say the answer really to number 5 is something in the order that it's dependent on the new executive and the legislative body on how they implement unification.
You read Mr. Atwood's editorial.
That's really the answer, though. That's really, I didn't read his editorial, but that's...
He wrote it.
huh?
When was it in?
But that is the answer. It's really dependent on the executive that you're going to elect
The people that you elected.
and your legislative body are the ones that, how they unify this government will determine what your taxes are going to be. All this crud about service areas is terrific, but there's the answer. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, then pose the question so we can get the answer.
Well, my taxes go up and down under the new government.
Up is what we're after.
And the answer is difficult to say because it's dependent.
I don't know.
Because we don't know right now who's
Stay
under
away from I don't know.
any form of government.
Stay
whether-
away.
Why do you have to say that, why do you always have to say, I know the answer?
Stay away from
I know the answer, or I don't know the answer.
Why do you ask
The answer is
question?
dependent on who you elect, really.
So you don't know
So
the
we
answer.
say that's up to you.
Yeah, it's elect a good, strong mayor and elect a good legislative body, and they won't go up.
So the answer, so the question is, will my taxes go up under the new government? No, if you elect the right people. But we aren't going to tell you who they are.
I'd have to find out who they are. No, but that's a good answer. No, if you elect, if the right people are put in
You're
it.
like dingbats, you
You
got
can't say
That's right.
no, otherwise you're going to have every elected official bound and determined that in at least the next year, no matter what this community needs, your taxes cannot go up.
It might not be too bad.
But the point is, Patty, that being very realistic about this thing, the charter can't do anything about taxes. Really, the only people that are going to do anything about these taxes are going to be the mayor, because he's got a hell of a lot of power now, and that legislative body.
All right,
Are we,
so how do
should
we
the
pose the
question
question?
be, what will happen to my current tax rate under the new government?
What tax rate? What do you mean?
Yeah, what's the tax rate?
All right?
What will happen to my taxes?
Will my...
All right, what will happen to my taxes? Answer. Dependent upon, of
Which
course,
socket they go in?
yeah, dependent upon the type of government or the type of man that is elected, or whatever.
So maybe we better leave it up and down.
Mr. Chairman, I still think that the answer to this question is that since we have not changed the services in the areas in which you live,
I really think
it
that's
should
the
stay
way
somewhere in the neighborhood of what you had last year, depending upon inflation.
You know,
Okay.
in a way, I agree with Mary that what can we say other than the fact we're not giving them more service, and we hope
We're
The
not
eliminate
changing
duplication
the
and
services you
we
have at
hope
present.
that,
Will I be receiving
that
services
our,
I
the
don't need?
added
Paying for
efficiencies
services.
will keep
Take care of the inflation.
Okay,
Take
then
care
I
of the
need the
inflation.
question.
Will I be paying for services that I don't receive?
Don't say
No.
that one. Lots of them think they are right now.
The question is,
Yeah.
What about, are my taxes going to go up? Your taxes shouldn't go up because we have not added any services in any areas to those you already have. Depending upon inflation,
and the quality of the elected officials.
the efficiency gained should take care of it.
Yeah, I think if you ask just, will my taxes go up, that very first sentence is all you need. Except for inflation, taxes should
Remain
remain about.
about the same because we haven't added any
Yeah,
services.
something like that. That sounds simple.
You,
We haven't added any.
because the charter hasn't added
Yeah, but
any
the charter
services
doesn't
anywhere.
legislate anything. It's the legislative body that comes in that's going to do the adding. It's not this charter.
The legislative body can't add services with our charter, Fred. It's the people's the only ones that can.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Except
Except for what? It can happen.
Okay.
Does that give you
But
anything?
shouldn't,
Except for inflation,
Shouldn't you
taxes should
mention-
remain about the same.
shouldn't you mention though that you will only have to pay for what you're presently
Yeah.
receiving?
Yeah, in a way, this business of
Because
you want to say inflation, but I don't think you even want to say the
Right,
damn taxes are going to be the same. You don't know that.
You people are being academic about this thing.
no, because
Look, put it on the backs. The guy reading this question, the voter, is certainly going to have a quick realization and saying,
you're
well,
not.
look, I'm going to vote for this guy for mayor. He better keep my taxes down. Or that new assembly better do something about my taxes.
Okay, how about, except for
I mean, put the monkey
inflation-
right on the official's back that's going to be elected.
Right.
They're being elected at the same time. So let's put it right on their backs. If they can't handle a job, you're going to pay more taxes. If they can't unify properly, it's going to cost you more.
In the previous question, we said
Could we,
the decision rests with the local boundary commission. How about if we say
With your newly
these
elected
decisions,
assembly
these decisions,
And mayor, you got a
rest
strong mayor now, remember that. And what
with
strong mayor.
Right.
The mayor.
Put it right on his back.
That's
If you're newly
right.
elected
So 3 months later in office, this guy's taxes go up. It's not the charter.
Okay,
Let's look at this
question
matter.
is,
Right.
will my taxes go up under the
Yep.
new government?
They probably will.
The answer is this wishy-washy thing that says, except for inflation, taxes should remain about the same because the charter has not added any services. This decision rests with your new assembly and your new mayor. This did not.
The answer, the final answer rests, the final answer rests with your new mayor and the new assembly.
Well, it sounds like they can decide on services then.
It's only going to do a lot of my
James is going to need some more work.
In your need or request, in your need or request for services. In your need or request for services.
Sure, yeah, that's good.
And you what?
And your need and request for services.
All right.
Yeah, because it's the people too. You know, the people
Okay.
ask for
Yeah.
the zoo, and the people ask for the boys club.
Will my
and the
taxes
people
go
ask-
up? Except for inflation, taxes should remain about the same because the charter has not added any services. The final answer to increase taxes rests with your new mayor and assembly and your need and request for services.
Yeah,
Good,
now,
good,
oh
good.
man, out of
Now
this-
that's
good.
better,
All of
better,
this
That's
better.
good.
committee.
Better,
That's it,
better,
Jane, you've got
better.
it. Jane, you've got it. You hit it.
All right, let's move on to the next
Next question.
question.
Just feel like that, fit like a glove.
What
Mhm,
text
if I can
text
keep
do I
reading.
have
It
under
was
the
like the
new
yellow
charter?
pen came out at 3 in the morning and amended it.
meanie, tickle, you
The Chapter 29 provides your protection,
Wait,
which may be changed by the state legislature, right?
wait.
And therefore, you
Are
have
there
no
tax
protection.
protections in
On the question that we just answered, we didn't say yes or no. We just said, except it shouldn't. And I suspect that graphically she's going to want to be able to do question yes, no. Should we say no right off the bat?
Can't you
Instead
have
of-
an answer that says it should?
You don't necessarily.
Okay.
Answer
All
if
right.
you have it should.
Yeah, don't get blocked into that yes, no.
Okay. Now you go back to tax protections. Do I have under the new charter?
I'm not sure I like that question.
Actually, that's probably not really the question as much as
What tax protection?
have we maybe addressed the question in the previous one?
It's really not a, it's a tax
Where
restraint.
did you ever get there is a set limit on the amount of taxes you'll have to pay, Pat?
Yeah.
Where did you dream that one from?
Well,
Probably that came out of the conversations about the 3% limit on tax rates, it's in state law. But anyway, as stated, she's
Yeah,
right.
try.
Is there
I
this thing
decided
in law?
would
Because
sell
we have,
better.
Well, the 30...
Well, this statement as it now reads is obviously inaccurate, but there is a 3% limit on ad valorem taxes in Title 29, which does apply to home rule
okay,
municipalities.
because this question came up and we kind of lied our way through because we didn't know. So we can now say that although it's not written into the charter, it is provided for in state law, right?
Incidentally, I've been stopped on the street by people who were at that meeting who were fascinated by our presentation.
They like-
How would you reword that, Rick?
People
The question?
pointing and stuff.
I don't know.
Let's
I
look
think
at
it's
the
a bad
question.
question. Okay, the intent of providing this kind of information
blue.
is
Out of the blue.
you have to vote on your, the services. Didn't we say that up above?
Read the answer up above.
No, because all you said, you
Will
want,
I be
What are you
receiving
after in
additional
this question?
services?
What,
It looks like
How am I
yeah,
protected from additional taxes? Or,
ask them.
yeah. and
really,
it's-
these are limitations. These are tax limitations.
And that one on...
Will I be given services
What tax?
That I don't
that I don't want and can't afford?
Well, you might if your neighbors want it and you don't.
The
Will I be
question that came up
receiving...
today.
Somebody brought that up from Eagle River. One of the
Will I be
residents of
receiving
Eagle River,
additional
James Benning,
services?
brought that up, and he said, if the majority want it, I still don't want it.
Well, get the
I
hell
want
out
my
of
way. The hell with them.
and all we could tell them.
Well, with chaos.
Will I be receiving additional services?
Okay. Say it again.
Will I be receiving additional services?
We just said no up above.
All right.
Does anybody have any suggestions on how to word that?
Well,
Can the
what
new
are
assembly
The
give
question
me
or the
services
answer?
that I don't want?
can the new government?
Can the new government give me services that I don't want?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can it provide services to an area where the majority of the residents don't want them? That's
better.
the question.
Yeah, that's the question. The answer
That's
is
right.
Because it's one that comes up.
That's right.
And that's pretty good. Let's try
Okay,
it.
say it again.
Rick?
Well, the wording was not, I
And the
mean...
new government force services
On my area, if the majority,
area. If
Services on my new area? On my...
Services in my area.
new services on my area, if,
No, answer that in the question.
okay.
can
Yeah, the
the
new
new government force new services in my area?
Additional maybe?
Yeah,
Additional services in mind.
they keep coming back with different petitions, larger or smaller area. Yeah, they can. Harry knows.
No.
No, not with that the approval of the majority of the voters voting on the question in the area.
Right.
Of the
You
majority.
know, that's not going to get in the charter.
And it's,
The truth of the matter is, we have edicted in this charter something better than we have in the borough, because the voters have to request it. It can't be imposed
By the government.
from the government above. It is a better protection.
well, the
They
city
want to be
also
aware of it.
has been known to do that too.
But the people in the city can't vote on it, can they?
Mm-mm.
The government's just that.
Yeah.
And so we're really not a first or second class type thing.
Oh, we are home rule.
Yeah,
That's the whole
majority
thing.
of
That
voters.
doesn't mean you have everything.
Living in the area.
Well,
Okay.
let's do this. No, new services cannot be added.
I'm not going to live through this life.
Oh,
Set out these.
meetings
I don't like the
kill
word
me, I'll live
district.
till I
It's
die.
confusing.
Your area?
Service area, actually.
Okay, in your area.
Here comes our friend from the town.
Can the new government force additional services in my area? No, not without the request for and the approval of, not without the request for and the approval by the majority of the voters living in the area.
Something to that extent. Same thing that we see in there.
Okay.
How about the sales tax thing?
Have you done existing government debts?
That's wrong, too, dear. I hate to be so critical.
About the sales tax?
No, his answer on
Existing
existing
government
government debt.
debts will be paid for only as UFE tax under the President of the business.
Yeah, leave that out.
Is that Ron?
Yeah, you better look that up under
What's the answer to it?
1913. Well, it's very complicated.
Oh,
It can be spread if they determine it benefits a larger area. There are
Like
some
the port.
mandatorily that cannot, such as sewage collection, water distribution.
Okay, then actually this question is, who gets screwed? The city or the borough? This is the answer to that question.
Do you want that as a whole new question?
yes or no?
I think
Now, that's very elegant descriptive language.
ombudsman.
I'm not suggesting it, I'm merely using it to
You
say
could phrase
that's the
it,
question.
do you
for the
want to
answer.
be or do you not want to be?
I think the sales tax question should be separate.
Yes, and that can be answered.
Okay, so then why don't we,
And then
do we want to
libertarian
deal at all,
thing-
please, do we want to deal with the question of government debt?
No.
Not
No.
really.
No.
Not really.
No.
We'll handle that on our TV
No.
show.
Yep.
Okay,
Finance.
do we want to deal with sales tax?
Yes.
New question.
As a separate item.
Yep.
The question is,
Will there be a sales tax?
will there be a sales tax
Answer yes.
under the new government?
I wish we had
No,
some
say
idea.
no.
Be a good thing. Would be a good thing.
No, and along the same thing, not without the approval
Right.
of... No.
Where's our man from the paper?
It was
Not-
Joanne,
Went on down to do his line.
Joanne Coase, who was going down to write things, and she wasn't stopping here. She just
Jim
saw we
Van.
were busy.
She's got a honest story.
Has gone to the Doug Millar Spectacular tonight, the Against Unification.
I wonder who they put up for the mayor candidate.
Joanne.
CR.
And Jim's taking.
Okay, the next question, ladies and gentlemen,
Right.
question number 9. What form of leadership administration does the new government offer?
What happened to 7 and 8?
What's 7?
I'm sorry, 7.
I would suggest
What's the answer?
whatever we use that would strike out strong. I think that's very -5.
Strong? Yeah.
The last one was,
It has the
will there be a
dictator,
sales tax under the new government?
banana republic
No,
overtone.
not without the approval of the majority of the voters living in Anchorage.
What type of representation does the new
Are
government?
mayors anything other than elected?
No, they're not.
Why do we say elected then? Why don't we say an administrative mayor?
And I really object
A mayor.
to a combination of the presidency
Just a mayor.
and borough system.
Okay. How do we want to phrase the question?
What,
What's the form of the new government?
what type of representation will I have?
No, because we aren't talking about representation. We're talking about,
Leadership now. You're talking leadership in a question.
we're talking about the
Well, if you talk about leadership, you've got to get both. You want to say form of executive?
Executive mayor.
What form of executive does the new government
He is
offer?
an executive.
What form of leadership does it offer?
Well, he is an executive mayor. The way
Head,
it's set up
head,
now.
head,
Who's the head guy? No.
head.
Head.
I'm,
Head in the Navy, that means waste.
We're trying to eliminate, oh dear, I'm sorry.
There's a certain earthiness about the president.
what will the form of the...
Yeah, an executive mayor. An executive mayor. He's not a show mayor.
Leadership is the new government.
I don't like the word leadership.
You got head,
What form of
I want all
executive?
bikes banned off the streets starting tomorrow.
What form of executive and
They
administration
serve no purpose. People get heart trouble from pumping those
does the
things.
new government
What
offer?
are you rattling
I'm
on?
watching these people pedaling bicycles.
It offers a combination of the present city and borough systems. A mayor who is charged with appointing a professional manager. A manager who must be approved by the assembly.
who must?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want to say the present city and the borough system, because that's really not exactly true.
Well, it is a, well, you're used to, I don't know whether a hybrid is good in a deal like this, but that's what it is. It's neither one nor the other, nor does it have all, it has some features that are not,
Well, it sure ain't.
A lot of people get mad about that though, because
I
I think
really
they say
think-
accurately that the difference between what we've proposed and the present borough form is minimal, negligible.
I keep hearing that.
You know,
Yeah.
it really is, and I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
say
there's
that.
much point in pretending that we have a balance between the two systems.
It doesn't say balance, it says combination.
Yeah, but it isn't a combination. I mean, one
Percentage.
vests in the elected body, the policy and, you know, a great deal more in the council than there ever is in the assembly. And I can't see where we borrowed from the...
Veto?
Nothing was borrowed
Nothing
on
was
the council
borrowed from the
manager
council
form
manager
particularly.
form that I can see.
Who will be administering the new government?
The
The mayor?
Assembly having to approve of both the
Okay, but
manager and the
Well,
department heads. And previously, the borough mayor could appoint them without their approval or in any manner.
yeah, but that really doesn't speak, that begs the issue. The issue is the separation of the executive and the legislative function.
I don't think we can explain the difference between the different forms of government right now. All we can do is explain what we've got.
What we've got, I think.
So the question
So it
would
offers
be,
a strong.
who will be administering the
Don't
new
want
government?
strong.
The mayor is charged.
Yeah, that's all right. If you strike the first sentence and strike strong elected, you're all right.
Okay, the question is, who will be administering the new government?
Who has the authority or who has the responsibility for administering the new government?
Okay. Who will be administering the new government?
I
The
like
mayor
Lisa's
has the
word.
what'd you say?
Who is responsible for running the government, or who runs the government? That's
The
a-
mayor as the chief executive will be charged with appointing a professional manager. Your mayor is the
The
chief
mayor is the
executive,
chief executive.
right?
Must.
He is obligated,
He is your chief
must.
executive, and he
He
must appoint
must.
a professional manager. The mayor as the chief executive is charged with appointing a professional manager.
The manager must be approved by the assembly.
Right.
The manager and all department heads?
No.
Now, he's charged with appointing the professional manager and all department heads.
And they're all controlled by the assembly.
Subject to approval of the assembly.
Okay, the mayor is the chief executive. He must appoint a professional manager and professional department heads?
No, and department heads.
And the department heads come under, do come under professional.
The manager
Professional
must,
managers,
the manager and department heads must be approved by the assembly.
How about legislative bodies?
Subject, aren't they? They're subject to approval, isn't that the
Mayor shall appoint all
That's
heads
all
of
right.
municipal departments subject to confirmation on the basis of
Which
professional
would mean not necessarily,
Assembly?
they will not necessarily all be approved by the assembly, right? When you say subject?
They will be.
Well, it means they're not appointed.
They're not appointed if they don't
they're not
approve of it,
confirmed,
Fred.
I would assume, that's it.
Subject.
Your wording, I thought was nice.
The subject
Is
is
it
Approved by the assembly.
a mayor who is charged with appointing a professional manager and all department heads subject to assembly approval.
Yes.
I mean, that's the idea, as I see
I think that's it.
When you use the word subject, does that make it mandatory that the assembly approve them?
Yeah, that means they don't get appointed unless the assembly approves them. You know, you go downtown,
All right,
subject to not
okay.
giving
If
you
you're
a
reading
car.
it that way, fine.
That's,
There's no
All right,
other way,
so how
that's
does-
what we meant.
Who must be approved by the assembly?
Tell him again, tell Jane again, she got lost there.
He
what
must
was your
appoint,
language, Jay?
he must appoint a professional manager and department heads who must be approved by the assembly.
No, subject to assembly approval. Or-
Use that word then.
It's subject to it. If they aren't approved, he doesn't get their head.
Right.
In other words, Jim, when you're mayor, I want you to fully understand that, what that is meant.
That's 5 years from now.
Okay,
Do you also want to say that you
Is that
have
in your plan?
veto power over
Came off the top of my head, as good as anything.
okay, now let's go on to the next
Not today.
paragraph. The mayor may attend and participate in the assembly meetings, but he has no vote. He does, however, have veto power. The assembly may override his veto with 8 members voting to override.
How does the question read?
We're still on the same question.
Yeah,
Who
but how
will
is
be
it-
running the new government?
Yeah, that's fine. Except it's wordy, you don't need override in there.
Yeah, you could shorten that up.
He does, however, have veto power. The assembly may
Yeah.
override his veto with 8 votes.
Mayor's restricted to certain...
And
He
I
is.
don't like that.
It has veto power over assembly
You don't always
actions.
want the restriction. It does, however, have it.
The mayor may attend and participate in assembly meetings, but he has no vote. He does, however, have veto power over assembly action.
Which can be.
The assembly, however, may override his veto with 8 votes.
The assembly.
And I think the restricted to serve 2 3-year terms should be a separate short question. If your answer gets too long, you lose people.
Okay.
Can the mayor serve forever? No.
Can the mayor serve forever?
Is the term of the mayor unlimited? Maybe you could get in your 3-year term? and
Maybe we don't need to mention the 32 per year or something?
Can the mayor...
Change the phrase eliminate and they're all.
Okay, the question is, can the mayor stay in office indefinitely? No. The mayor is restricted to serving only 2 3-year terms in a row. That doesn't sound good.
The mayor may serve
Two
only
consecutive.
2 consecutive 3-year terms.
So only 2
I would strike the rest.
Yeah.
3-year terms.
Because
Well, some people wonder why that rule's in there. Why did we?
Well,
I think it's a short question and a short answer.
yeah, but if you put the other thing in there, you might evoke some thoughts in
Yeah.
the
Why
mind that you
can't-
didn't think of before. You know, suddenly says,
Why
"Oh,
don't we
this
put
is
restrictions on
you know
assembly?
Mayor Haig type thing. I'm not going to vote for it. Best leave it alone."
Can the mayor stay in office indefinitely? No, the mayor is restricted to serving only 2 consecutive 3-year terms.
In a row.
Period.
I think let their mind.
Consecutive.
Consecutive is it?
Consecutive says that, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I'd stop there. I would leave it alone.
Period.
Is that everybody buying to that?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Question number 8. Can the mayor or assemblyman raise their own salaries? No.
Well, and I think you should immediately say the charter establishes a commission on
Yeah.
so-and-so. In other words, give a positive
Yeah, right.
answer.
Emoluments.
How about if we just call it a salary commission?
Salaries Review Commission.
No.
That's almost invidious.
I think it's capricious myself.
Yeah. Tangential to the whole thing.
Oh, dear.
A little bit, Rick.
All right. Can the mayor or assemblyman raise? Oh,
I
school
can't
board
wait
too.
to the harmonica.
Can elected officials raise their own salary?
No.
Only consent.
Raise their own salary.
All right.
No, the charter commission has established a salary
Just get
commission.
up on a chair to
The charter establishes a salary commission.
The independent salary commission.
We're
Right.
independent.
Right.
Boy, we got nailed, by the way, on
The Charter
who,
Commission.
today on who
Who
they,
appoints the salary commission?
we got nailed on who, what's a non-profit group other than the League of Women Voters?
Nonpartisan.
Okay, non-partisan.
League of
And
Women
did that
Voters.
shake anybody
And
up?
who else? The
Chamber of
Independent Party.
Commerce.
No, the
Independent
Libertarian
Party.
Party.
Oh, he said the Taxpayers Defense League.
Taxpayers Defense League.
Right.
I think it's really fast.
That's good.
Just few.
Yeah.
That gives it
You
a
do
real-
have a little bearing in there, huh?
They just, what organizations do belong to this guy?
Young Communists of America, the
Oh.
Clyde Lewis
I thought it was
Democracy.
I thought it was communards, not
The old
communists.
Communists of America.
Right,
You know, you're on right-wingers. As a federal employee, you're on safe.
I don't believe in the Hatch Act. I want to get that on the
Do
record.
you want to leave in?
And,
I thought you were a wobbly.
that
I was
too.
gonna say, I bet he's one of those.
And,
Okay,
young Greeks.
let's go back to question. Okay.
Don't you wish?
Come to the
Come
bar.
on.
Can they?
Can the elected officials raise their own salary? No, the charter establishes an independent salary commission. Then I jump down to members of this commission are appointed from all segments of the general public and may not hold any other government positions.
I put down local government because
And it's not all segments of the general public. That's ridiculous.
May not hold any other local, yeah, that's
Right.
local, because
Different segments.
as I understand the rules
that's right.
A variety of segments?
No,
Just
from
different
different.
From different segments.
Comes from different.
Segments
So-
of
State, was it state?
Different from what?
What's wrong with segments? Members of this
Sounds
commission are
like a
appointed.
Don't say all. It's segments, it's all right. Take the all out.
Are appointed from the general public.
Now you're
Okay, okay.
Well, they're not.
They're not.
They're appointed from categories within the general public, but, you know, still categories.
their decisions are final.
But very.
All bankers are people, but all people are not bankers, Frank. I mean, it's
You're talking about
All right.
people, not
Members of this commission
like categories. Are appointed.
are appointed and may not hold any other government position.
Local.
Any other local government position.
That's good.
what do you mean by local now? Is that state?
And may not hold any other
They could.
local.
Well, the charter, I think, doesn't permit a state employee, does it?
No. I think it says
Commissioners are
elected,
appointed.
local elected.
And may not hold any other local
Somebody
government.
works for the state holding an elected office under the
May not hold, huh?
Yeah.
If a person is a banker who sits in the state legislature, he can sit on the salary commission for the Anchorage.
Cannot be a locally elected
No,
official.
no,
Bankers can't get elected. The
And
state
cannot-
legislature anymore.
Cannot be a locally elected,
Don't want to. Can't afford
I know.
may not hold any other local elected position, local government office.
You do so well. I can't even
Now,
do
any
it.
other
Really.
Who knows where they are?
local elected office.
Why is it different from being employed as opposed
Salary
to
and
being?
My
all
brother
was
does that a lot,
17
too.
something.
That's what I thought. No, don't say that.
Oh, are you talking about employment?
I was wondering if it was
19
covered in there also.
It's there, but
Back
no,
in
it says
five,
you
I
can't
think.
be an elected official.
Back in five.
You have to get through law school. What? I was-
Five. The composition of the Jerkin
Thank you,
Motion
dear
Committee. I had to look it up once. I think it was five.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Because I went from
No member of the commission, here it is, no member of the commission shall be employed by the municipality during the term for which he is appointed, nor shall he hold elected
section.
municipal office during his term.
Oh, yeah, 508.
508.
So it's both.
Yeah, so it's any other local government position that
Yeah.
covers elected in.
Okay, that's what you
Any other
got.
local government position.
Okay.
Should we say the commission is the only one who can set and alter the salaries?
Who appoints them?
The mayor.
Mayor confirmed by assembly.
Same as every other commission.
Okay, members of this commission are appointed by the mayor and may not hold any other local government position.
Well, just are appointed. Where did you get the mayor?
I think it doesn't make much sense to say they're appointed, and the next question is by whom?
Yeah. Appointed by the mayor with assembly confirmation. With assembly approval.
Doesn't say that, though.
What does it
Yes,
say?
it does.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there
Because if it
provision
gives
on
the
all
appointment
boards and
power to the
commissions?
mayor has all boards and commissions. And it must be,
Subject to
Members
confirmation.
of this commission are appointed by the mayor with assembly approval and may not hold any other local government position
Period.
while they serve.
Yeah, while serving.
Do you want to include the last sentence on the public input?
No.
Mm-mm.
Do you want to say that they can't, the commission is the only one that can set the salaries, that they can't be altered or changed by anybody else but that commission?
Set or alter.
All right,
Yeah, say that.
Okay.
That's all right.
the decisions of the commission are final there.
Until the
Somebody's
commission
bound to
changes
say they're not
Changes
elected
it
and
due to
not
political
elected.
pressures.
Okay, just something to that, to that effect.
The commissions are the only ones who can set salaries.
This isn't true. It's subject to initiative and referendum.
that's right.
Let's forget it.
That is not true.
That's right, you're right.
You're telling a lie.
Yeah, you're right.
Steady, Mary, don't let
All right,
anyone get
we'll move on to the next question.
What did he do?
Okay, but then,
The whole thing reads, yeah, we talked about that. The whole thing reads, can elected officials raise their own salaries? No, the charter establishes an independent salary commission.
You got some sleep.
Members of this commission are appointed by the mayor with assembly approval and may not hold any other local government positions while serving. Question number 9.
I think that it wouldn't hurt to say that the commission's decisions are subject to initiative and referendum.
No.
I think it's too much detail, Mary.
Should go back to the initiative
Everything.
referendum.
Question number 9. What about those assembly meetings that stretch into the wee hours of the morning?
Great, expand on that in the rest of the page.
You notice how I ask every question and then tell them that I was a nut that didn't support it.
You do that nicely.
I'm courageous about that.
Okay, should we reword the question so that it can be yes or no?
no.
No,
Don't
we
do that.
should not reword the question. How do you like the answer?
I don't think you want to say stop. Do you want to say prohibit? It stops, right? Right.
I think it stops. This is sure as usual,
I think it's well done.
I think so, right?
Okay, question number 9 is, okay.
We don't want to
We
break.
got, question number 10. When the governments are consolidated, how will the present employees be affected by staff reductions?
Horribly.
I don't think we want to say.
When the new government is created,
Yeah.
Under the new government.
or under the new government,
I would like.
Why don't we just put
What happens
elimination
to?
of that first 5 words? Or
Yeah,
first
how
4
will
words.
the
How will the
How will the
present
present
employees
employees
be
be affected by staff
reduction?
reduction?
Yeah.
How about
how
if
will
we
they
say,
be affected by staff reduction?
How will present
You're
employees...
assuming there's going to be reductions in staff, huh?
how about if we say,
Yeah, I've been hoodwinked into believing that. Maybe
Huh?
that's not so.
will the
It may
present
not be.
employees
Of the city and borough.
of the city and borough be affected by the new government?
No.
Oh,
No.
that's not.
Yes.
Yes, they will be.
They'll definitely be affected. They should be.
I think, wouldn't you want to say our rights of the new employees protected under the charter?
Of present employees.
I think
Okay.
that's a much better question.
Yeah.
The rights of
I don't know
present
what I
employees.
said.
Right.
Rights of present employees.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's
under
use
the
that.
charter.
That's it. Yeah.
For the new government.
And then you can state
Amen.
some of this stuff in there.
That's a much better question. We can answer it much more positively without saying things we don't want
Present
to say.
employees protected under the new charter.
I think you want to, you could even go a little closer to what it says in the charter, like for rules, personnel rules, contracts, and that jazz. Don't you think that's your answer? Instead of coming up with whatever we found.
We could just put quote
Yeah,
sections.
that first
here.
sentence is not quite accurate. is it?
No.
Because the plan is going to eliminate some employees.
But something like pension plans and retirement plans and other benefits under bargaining rights, so and so, so and so. If that can be said, you know,
That's the perfect answer, and let it go with that.
yeah, in a way,
We're
push
assuming.
that away from legalese.
What's the question you've written down?
The question is, are the rights of the present employees protected under the new charter?
Answers yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes. Then
Leave it blank.
take our word for it. Now, do we want to talk about how, for the people who are concerned that we're just going to put 2 together and it'll be big as ever, that we're going to talk about the attrition rate?
Yes, most of the attrition rate will be due to natural turnover.
And why don't we say, due to natural turnover,
The attrition rate is.
the word attrition, I think, should be.
Well, reduction in total number of employees will be accomplished by attrition.
By turnover.
Turnover, yeah.
There's no mention of attrition in here, I don't believe.
Will,
All of a
right?
sudden, that 40% and 20% became law, and I keep
Statistic.
hearing commissioners use it, and I wonder what validity. we just heard some pretty rough figures. Did we hear that from the personnel people?
Well, I can tell you, the first 4 months of this year, we had a 30% turnover
In the city or in the bank?
in the bank.
I question this 20% for the city. I really do.
Slow.
That was the report they gave to us.
Who did?
We got it in this meeting right across the street that morning.
The city.
I'd
Doug
like to,
Stark and
since the
from-
commission seems to
Doug
be
Weicker.
using it, I'd like to see that
I'm a little
verified
uncomfortable about it, but
with the personnel department. if I could.
It was Doug Weicker.
How could we verify it? You think with Bill Smith and,
Yeah, because we'll have to make a slide on it, so maybe we should verify.
yeah, I really think you should. I'm just a little nervous about that.
Let's go back to the question, are the rights of the present employees protected under the new charter? Yes,
Oh,
and then you want us to quote the charter on what we say, or go back to
out in the borough. It was,
just one conversation at a time, please.
I was just telling him who called the borough.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bill called.
Okay, on the yes, the rights of employees are protected, we should just go back to the charter and reword what's there.
I was thinking maybe we could have a sentence in that said, the commission met with employee representatives and representative of employee groups, and their rights are protected.
I like that.
I spoke.
Well, maybe we could go back and say that also.
With a sentence from the charter, too.
All right.
But I think what we did meet
Yeah.
with the group.
All right. Then probably the next question, you say, if all the employees are protected, how will we have any savings?
All right.
Well, we do that down
What
below.
about, well, do we want that a separate
A separate
I
question?
think so.
Yeah.
Separate
let's
question.
accept the
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry.
Good idea.
We're keeping them short and succinct.
How will there be any savings? Okay, enter the paragraph on the stats will be reduced as the natural loss of employees occurs throughout the year. Current employee turnover is
It's not
estimated.
lost turnover.
The natural turnover of employees. Employees occurring throughout the year. The current employee turnover is estimated at 40% in the borough, 20% in the city.
Replacement of employees will be on a selective basis. That doesn't-
Let's
Leave it out.
Okay, does everybody agree with that paragraph with the two changes?
Yes.
Fine.
And we'll check on the numbers.
But that's not necessarily true. Is it that the staff will be reduced only as a natural loss of employees occur? Now, they may
No.
come through with a reorganization
No.
plan, and man,
There will be
The
a
only-
reorganization.
the
There's
only
bound to
thing
be.
we've said is that we'll protect them, through seniority for those positions, but,
We could say the majority of the reduction in employees will be taken care of. We can't say that all.
Well, wait, now this goes back to Fred's point, that if you've got a strong mayor in there who completely reorganizes that entire government, you may have quite a few
he
losses.
can just cut
That's right.
like crazy.
He can chop them all out.
Yeah.
And so maybe we should address the fact that the mayor has a reorganization plan. The first one is,
Yeah, I-
right away, there is turnover, and the next is that the mayor has the right to reorganize
Well,
that.
it was called for a very specific date and plan of organization
May
submitted by the mayor, approved by the assembly. And I really think we get into dangerous waters if we ever say what might happen. We jolly well don't know
Yeah.
it. We set forth a procedure that's to be followed, and that,
Okay,
and
we
We've
will say
answered
for
a way
sure
that
there's
savings
attrition,
will be.
and the deposit.
We have given a way that the savings will be. Do we have to give a second way? Can we do
I think they ought to know that the mayor has the right
Yeah,
to reorganize.
well, that he has a responsibility to submit that. It isn't, he doesn't, I mean,
The mayor has responsibility for the reorganization.
by a certain date.
By May 1st, 1976.
The staff will be
And,
reduced.
and the important thing there is seniority will, there will be the protection of seniority, however it's stated in the charter.
The question is, if all the employees are protected, how will there be any savings?
All employees will not be protected.
Question before that is, are the rights of the present employees protected under the new charter? Yes.
the majority will be protected, but not all.
Well, the charter does protect them all as of that date. The plan of reorganization then can change.
Does the charter protect management people and everybody?
You jolly well
comparable
got it,
position?
Comparable.
everybody goes in.
Everyone who is there is to be offered a comparable position, maybe not the same job title,
Well,
but
we don't say comparable
You
position.
don't say comparable position.
Okay, if all employee rights are protected, how will there be any savings?
All right.
Number one, the staff will be reduced by turnover. Number two, the mayor has the responsibility to submit a plan for reorganization May
By
1st,
May
1976. It is possible. He has the option of reducing staff as he sees
It says
fit.
the plan shall provide for elimination of unnecessary duplication and available positions, on the order of their seniority. I think it says it in 1910 and 1911, and our answers have to follow that.
They don't have a right to a job there, though, do they?
The day after the charter, yes, they do.
They have a right to the job?
Until the reorganization plan is approved by the new legislative
Until
body.
they get a
Everybody say till May.
the mayor's reorganization.
No, it says by May. It doesn't say he can wait until May.
Not later than
So
that.
his rights are protected until he submits the plan.
I think they are. I don't think the day after you've got two managers, you can't fire. Not until you get a plan of reorganization that's approved by this. Don't you feel that, Frank?
I think that's right.
Well, I think I didn't.
The mayor's reorganization plan should slow the growth of government employees.
Staff reductions will occur through turnover.
Mayor must prepare a reorganization plan
Not later.
by not later than May 1st,
Isn't that
1976.
unnecessary detail?
No, I think I don't know when. Well, that's my opinion.
And rather than saying be eliminated, I think we should say that the reorganization plan should help slow the growth of government.
No, wait, the strength of saying this at all is that it says he must come up with a way of getting rid of the duplication.
For elimination of unnecessary duplication, it was very carefully left out people in that one.
Calls for the elimination of
Staff
duplication
reductions occur through turnover, seniority.
and waste.
Well, yeah, we've got, there are two sides to this question. One is that to make employees not nervous, and the other is the general
Right, they're hard, so
taxpayer.
we're gonna make them nervous.
Yeah, and make the general taxpayer feel that we're trying for
Right.
efficiency and economy in government.
This plan calls for the elimination of the duplication of
Unnecessary duplication, period, because you didn't
Period.
bring in the others.
unnecessary duplication, period. Then now comes your sentence. This could,
It doesn't matter. I think we have enough.
I just broke away with Dan at 5 o'clock.
The mayor must prepare a reorganization plan not later than May 1st, 1976. This plan calls for elimination of unnecessary duplication in the new government.
Good.
Yeah, great.
Good.
Okay, last question.
Go.
No, I have a question that goes in
Wait.
before that.
Okay, Jim, shoot.
What if I don't like a provision of the charter?
Peter? What do I do if I don't like a provision of the charter?
What if I don't like a provision of the charter?
I think that's very good.
Then vote against it.
No.
Initiative.
The charter can be amended by,
That's a good question.
No, it is.
That's a good question.
Okay.
One
that
entire
in.
article is devoted to amendment.
Charter can be amended.
You jolly well said it, right?
Yeah, but we keep saying very easily amended, simply amended. and
It
all
sounds
that.
good.
Sounds good, but we put that 3/5 deal in
3/5,
there.
so right.
And
That was Joe's fault, and I still don't
that,
think that was right.
Uncle Joel got us into that without.
But you can
And we all-
still get around it. I mean, you can still change the form of government, the method of representation, the way that school board people are elected, all the things that seem to be hidden, you can still change and not affect the Bill of Rights. The only
If we
thing
want to change anything in the Bill of Rights, we gotta have a 3/5 vote.
You voted for it.
I did. How did I do that?
We all.
The charter can be amended.
Must have been late one night.
It was one of the last things we did.
Well, Joe wanted the other
We
12
Bill
o'clock.
of Rights.
By assembly action, people, no, only by vote of the people. Let's not get into how.
Well, the charter can be amended by a vote of the people on proposed changes. Period.
You don't want to get into initiative and referendum?
Yeah, I
The
think
charter
we should
said the
mention
initiative and referendum.
Why not aimed at the people?
The charter itself.
The charter can be amended by a vote of the people.
Oh, wait.
A, through an initiative, B, through
I'm sorry.
referendum, C, through whatever else.
You can't amend the charter by initiative and referendum.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can
I'm gonna
reach
take
it
out
by
a referendum
initiative
to
and
repeal
referendum.
section
You bet.
1701 of the charter.
Okay. What if I don't like a provision of the charter? The charter can be amended by a vote of the people on the proposed changes.
period.
Period.
You're gonna do away with people, right?
You also have,
The people always have the opportunity of initiative and referendum to change.
people always have the right of initiative and referendum.
To change laws of the municipality. No?
On proposed changes by initiative, referendum, and whatever.
People can.
That's enough.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch how that all fit together. The charter can be amended by a vote of the people on proposed changes.
By initiative and referendum.
And by initiative and referendum. And
Same thing.
By.
In other words, all changes to the charter require a vote of the people, and there are three different ways of proposing the change. One is 2/3 vote of the assembly, one is initiative petition, and three is a charter commission.
All right, that's pretty good of Mark to say it.
Say proposals for change.
Rerun the tape?
by a vote of the people on proposed changes. There are
Proposals for change.
3 ways that it comes to a vote of the people.
I
No.
wasn't really trying to give you wording.
That's not.
Proposal
That sounds good.
If the assembly can amend the charter by a 3/4 vote,
No.
No, they can't.
the assembly can put it on the ballot.
Right.
And it can be put on the ballot by.
Change can,
All
Two-thirds.
the charter amendments.
proposals for change can be initiated by initiative,
Can be put on the ballot by.
can be put on the
Ballot?
Ballot by 2/3 vote of the assembly.
2/3 vote of assembly
Oh, there.
by initiative.
And referendum. You can do it with either.
And then submitted to the public for a vote.
Or you don't,
A charter
both
commission.
initiative and referendum have to be submitted.
Or
So
by
does the
forming a
But
charter.
Assembly.
what would a referendum do to a
Right now,
charter?
1802.
It would repeal
repeal
something.
Repeal something that just been,
It probably doesn't have much application,
By a vote
really.
of the people, and the hours and words.
It's a charter
Any amendment
amendment
still has to be approved by the people.
Well, my question, the original reason I posed the thing is that I wanted to soften people voting no on it by showing them that they can change part of it by a vote.
All right, you said that. All changes to the charter take the vote of the people. To get it on the ballot, a proposed change can be put on the ballot by a 2/3 vote of the assembly, by initiative and referendum from the people,
Period.
And by charter.
and
By a new.
by a new charter commission.
It's gonna cost. You folks better vote for this or
Ah,
So the second question would be then, how can I do that?
That's enough.
No, I've already had it.
What if I don't like a provision in the charter? The charter can be amended by a vote of the people on proposed changes. Proposed amendments can be put on the ballot by a 2/3 vote of the assembly, by initiative and referendum, or by forming a new charter commission.
Good.
I would like a more positive negative statement. such
All-
as,
All changes of the charter.
how can provisions of the charter be changed or something as opposed to, how can I
Oh,
change?
I hear what you're saying, yeah.
How can I change the charter?
All changes of the charter.
Change,
must
am
be
I
by-
doing-
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than saying I don't like.
Yeah.
How can a provision of the charter be changed?
How can I change the charter?
How can I,
Yeah, I like that. Can I change?
well, I can't get the assembly to do 2/3 vote. so-
Oh, is
Well,
it-
you might be able to.
Can you?
You might be able to.
Okay.
How can I change the charter?
How can I change a part?
A provision in the charter.
Yeah.
That's good for Committees have difficult time writing things, don't they?
We debated.
Is it going to be a one hump or two hump?
It's good we did.
The charter can be, okay, how can I change a provision?
May I suggest that you change, I think somebody over here said it anyway. All changes of the charter must be by vote of the people by vote of the people, period. And you leave out,
All change.
the charter can be amended by, just say, all changes of the charter must be by vote of the people. Does that sound better or not?
Sounds fine.
It's positive, it doesn't.
Okay, the question is, how can I change a provision in the charter? The answer is, all changes of the charter must be by vote of the people.
And you go on to say changes may be proposed by 1, 2, 3.
No, he's saying period.
I think it needs to be.
It has to have.
Then you can go ahead with a proposal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then proposed amendments can be
yeah.
placed in the ballot by a 2/3 vote of the assembly by an initiative and referendum by forming a charter commission.
Right.
Yep, yep.
Good enough,
So,
the government
gets-
work.
All right.
Okay, what'll happen to municipal utilities?
So what happened in this provision?
I don't understand the last sentence of that.
What will happen to the utilities?
And that,
Well,
the
now-
area covered by the former government doesn't do it.
The question
last
on the
sentence is
TV
wrong.
was asked a little differently. Will the utilities handled by the city and/or the borough be changed in any way?
It's only city utilities, of course, that
Hey, that last sentence is.
That's
I think
incorrect,
we
isn't
just
it, that last sentence?
eliminate that last sentence. That ain't so.
That's my bad interpretation.
It's not right.
Okay. How do you want the question to read?
Stayed up till midnight with us long enough.
Oh, no, I was up at 5 in the morning for this, that's what happened.
How do you want the question to read?
Will the utilities handled by city
Will my utilities change as a result of the vote? No. People in this question, are they more concerned about whether or not they keep getting likes and telephones, or are they more concerned about?
The question is
I'm more
mainly raised
concerned
by
about what
city
you're
of
saying,
Anchorage
but
people.
Don't you want to say will profits from city utilities be spread area-wide, or just deal with the concern that the city people have about that?
Let's say they will remain.
It's time.
Oh.
What will happen to the municipal utilities?
Your lip on that one.
You ought to see the new Coors one. They have two little round holes, and you push the little one, and it hinges down, and then you push the big one, and there's no chance of you swallowing them. They're glued on, and there's no ring to throw on the grass.
If you're going to answer the question, as written, the answer would be that they would continue as they presently are, with the exception of this blue ribbon panels being appointed to study them. That's the answer that will answer that question. What you have there's an answer. You say the money from the utilities would be used, because See, the two are disconnected.
Okay, what we want to do is tell them there's a utilities commission, and that the city is not going to end up on the short end of the stick.
What will happen to the city utilities?
They will all right, we don't want to offend those outside the city either. I think that Fred's answer is reasonable, that they will continue as they are, that there will be a blue ribbon committee that's going to
The only
recommend.
thing is you know, they are spreading the assets and the liabilities, and I don't know how far you have to go to be true.
Well,
You know, things are different, but you're gonna maintain the, or aren't they?
Well, then how about with the management?
They spread the assets and liabilities
Are
of the government. Then we set in there, and as I understand it, Rick, Title 29 requires that all the assets and liabilities of the government be spread area-wide. Now, let me finish. Area-wide,
Right.
except for water distribution, sewer collection, and no, not with no exception, except that the
Water.
debt for water collection, sewage collection, water distribution, and streets remains the obligation of the area which incurred the obligation. Now that means
required by state
everything
law.
is spread area-wide. The area owns the libraries. The area owns the port. The area owns everything. We treated through this the income from the APUC regulated utilities and spread that to, and then we treated it a little further. We left it with the area who owned the utility before, a governmental area that owned the utility before, and just went a little further in saying that the APUC regulated utilities were
Yeah, profits from the city utilities will be used for the City of Anchorage service area for 5 years. And then, in the meantime, there's this...
yeah, but we went there's something more on that. I can't think what it was.
1914.
Okay, well, what do we want to tell the people?
How much you have to tell the people?
If the question of city residents is, are we losing our utilities? And the other question is, what happens to them in the long run? Yeah, you're losing the ownership, the profits stay with you, but we have a commission set up to try and figure out what we do with them.
We went another step further in here. We don't see it, but we did say that later the government would spread it, would determine and would spread it to the area
1913.
that it was serving, whether it was a total borough, spread the...
That's the other part
the
from
other
the
part,
statute
right.
that we sort of paraphrased.
That was up there in those assets.
Not later than March 1, they decide which ones serve a larger area, and then the tax obligation is spread on those things.
Okay, but I think that's far too complicated
Yeah.
for...
I'd rather see us stay with a very simple answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm not sure that I know what the question is yet. Because what are the two fears that, or what do we want to tell them? We want to tell them that the city isn't getting taken to the laundry and that we're setting up a utilities commission.
Say it that way.
Yeah, but you got another one answer, and that is the borough saying, what are we going to end up holding?
We're gonna pay off all of their debts, and they're gonna get all the money, all the net profit.
You're in a real tricky area.
There we...
The city will be taken to laundries only that they own.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
You want to get together tomorrow and go over this in a little more detail?
Yeah,
I don't know if we can do this or not.
Yeah, and I think that you almost, if you find, it's rather complicated, if you find it's going to take so much to explain it honestly, then I would recommend personally dropping, Because being a very simplistic answer, saying you're going to retain profit for 5 years by itself opens, I think, more questions than they can really answer.
Do we want to tell them that we're establishing a commission?
Well, I think it'd be great.
What is
For the
Could we
Well,
then phrase the question?
You have to say something like, the assets will be owned by the new government. The profits from the utilities will remain with the city service
Well,
area.
aren't we saying, Rick,
There will be a commission which looks to the long-term disposition of the
why can't,
Long-term equity for all.
Rick, why can't we just say that everything stays
Good
as
phrase.
is? Because they'll receive the profit that
No,
we're
but it
receiving
isn't
now.
the same.
No, what Rick has said in 3 sentences,
He
I think
said
is right.
it in 3 sentences.
The problem is the ownership.
Yeah, it really is.
And that phrase that Mary ended with, for long-term equity for
The
all.
commission is designed for the long-term equity for all.
And there shall be peace. Leave home on the
And
supply.
the lion shall lay down with the lamb. Sounds incestuous to me.
You want to mention anything about education?
It's a good question. Yeah. Do you want to?
What about education?
What about it?
What about it?
I'm for it.
I'm against.
Is anybody against it?
I am.
All right, don't mention it.
Well, look, I think what you better do is to see where you are.
In terms of space.
In terms of space and
I
not.
had another question to add, which was, suppose I have questions that are not answered in this booklet.
How do I get my?
Well,
Paul,
you already told
Paul,
me
your
what
charter
it is.
Did
commission.
we where?
I think we should do it bigger and bolder. And when's the election? I think that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Call Chairman Frank Reed at
Home number.
If Maxine answers,
Hang on.
and don't call between 12 and 7.
You never said anything about the school board. You might have a question there about the school board, so you don't offend
at
the,
least one.
yeah, so you don't offend that side of the fence. Something about the school board should be in there.
How will the school board be elected? How about ours?
Same as ever.
Just a general question.
Our school's affected, yeah.
And the answer is no, really.
Is our,
We do have that designated seat. Well, Montgomery hang on to his job.
His contract's up this year.
Yeah, that's what I
How
told
are you
everybody.
providing for the next two?
school district affected
How long
by,
is that
is the
contract
school
with
district
for?
affected by the new
3 years?
government?
Yeah. And no.
Dare touch this one.
No way. Why don't we just say this? Only the expiring seats of school board members will be replaced in the
Sounds simple.
only seats of members who expire this year will be filled this year.
Yes, please.
Only seats will be filled, is what you said. Seats of members will be filled.
Only
With
You
what?
got all of members.
will school district operations be affected by the charter? No,
with the
except
waste
that
that was
by designated seat system, or in accordance with the designated seat system.
I think that's
Well, since the first
Maybe you should work that out later.
Well, since the first version of the charter had it that the whole board was being reelected, and I have been asked it a couple times, I think we should at least say, or you can ask the question, is the
Are
whole
all
school...
school board members being elected this time?
Right.
No.
Just the ones whose term expire this year.
Only those ones up for re-election.
Is that really the essential issue, or is it basically that schools are
That's just a bonus.
unaffected?
That they have the same powers.
Yeah,
so
and it
forth.
might be a twofold thing. Is the school district affected?
Yeah, I really.
One,
Are the powers.
it
Yeah.
remains an area-wide school district as it exists. Two is,
only the seats of members whose term expired this year.
That somehow to me is not a major issue, but maybe it is.
Oh, it was.
Just an acknowledgement.
I do want to get across the idea that the charter doesn't reduce the power of the
Yeah,
school board.
I'd like to see that. But
It's two questions.
Yeah, same way as it is.
Okay, but is it the question of election or is it a question of the power of the school board?
There's two questions.
Two, is the
No,
school
we got-
district affected in
You're saying
any
no,
way?
it remains an area-wide service and the school board remains the agent who manages.
Well, they're elected area-wide and, just the normal.
It could still be one question, I guess, about is it effective? And you have one sentence, no, except that in the next election, vacancies will be filled in accordance with the designated seat system, and the power, the school board will continue to exercise the powers granted under state law as president. Which is, I think, all we need to say.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda.
If you need one more question, we haven't said anything about transition. You might have a question in there about how will transition take place. Ooh. But if you need an extra question, I think that covers all the main points of the charter.
The other night, TV show, they said, give 3 simple reasons why I should vote for the charter. And nobody could answer.
I don't think we can say that.
Frank
Well, Frank did.
Pretty good.
Yeah, real fast,
Efficiency,
off the cuff.
responsiveness,
Less
Pretty focused,
confusing.
less confusing.
Okay, I have a question for anybody who saw it. Do you have any suggestions of how it can be improved?
On the TV show,
Yeah.
cut the number of people that are on the show.
Yeah, I think
Smile more.
3 on the panel
Frank
is,
smiles more on committee meetings than he does on TV.
Sherry didn't smile.
well, Sherry Sirius says she gets that way on occasion.
She gets uptight really quickly. Tense.
Okay, then we'll reduce the number of people.
I think 3 is really maximum. I don't think we should try to make sure we get everyone on those
And
panels.
another thing,
Not gone, so I could say that easily.
Bob
But,
Russell, yes, he shouldn't have his back like right to the camera. He
Of
should
course,
be
that's the way he does it.
and that's okay.
either up on the side, you know, like you 3
Does he
guys, 3
obstruct?
people here.
He did a bit, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He
3
definitely
people
did.
here and him over here.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like
of course, he has
3
the camera placed, and you know, he could have placed both cameras over there.
Yeah, if he put his cameras on it,
Technical thing.
Okay.
Ladies,
The other thing is that it's hot. It's really hot up there.
incredibly hot. It's the hottest TV I've ever been on in my life, including
Don't
early
turn it
New York City TV with air conditioning.
You know, Tim, I went on for 2 days with a headache. We taped for 3/4 of an hour for the Capital site, but in, different things. And it was unbelievable.
Their lights are of infinite power, and they are not air conditioned.
We need, if we're going to 3, we have Arliss, Fred, Bill, and Frank scheduled, and it's on finance. I'm just wondering who you all want to attend. We need a gal, for sure. But,
Well, then
Leave Fred and Bill on, because I've been on,
Oh, you were on last time.
and I was on last time.
Okay.
Yeah, well, why don't you leave it that way, and then if Bill finds he can't be there, have Fred, Frank come in.
alternate.
Yeah.
where might we be able to get together just briefly? Tuesday noon here or something just to talk about the finance section and some of the things we might be hit with?
Incidentally,
Or do you just want it?
no, we can get together Tuesday.
Pantsuits or dresses that cover your knees.
No, I haven't really read that set it up, because I,
I prepared a little thing out of the talk I gave at the chamber, that if you, I asked Patty maybe she could make us copies, and this is the best I could say, what I understood of our utility section, precisely quickly, and I think it covers it, but,
okay, maybe Patty can run it off. Patty, could you
run copies?
try and set up a meeting for Bill, Fred, and I at Tuesday noon, just to talk briefly about the finance thing?
Not Tuesday noon,
Oh,
anytime but noon.
Too close to the thing. Maybe 11 or 11:30 or something like that.
First thing in the morning?
What time do you get downtown here?
Oh, it doesn't make any difference. We can-
6
Yeah,
o'clock.
anytime Tuesday
6
morning.
o'clock, yes,
Well, let's make the time so she doesn't have to call us.
Can't be before 7.
Make it 10 and 10.
Okay, let's make it 10 on
Calendar and
Tuesday,
March
and
10th,
if there's a
Friday,
problem, I'll
8th.
give you a call on it.
Okay.
I'll let us know out today. How about 11 o'clock?
We got 10.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Tuesday at 10. Good.
I am convinced from
And if
what
you
we've
can't-
been
Bill
through
can't make
that
it,
the service clubs, whatever they are have a heavy impact of rooted citizens who vote and whose questions and whose being influenced is going to influence this charter. So the more of these charter and marching societies we can speak at, the better off we're going to be.
Kind of an interesting comment after Jim and I finished at the Kiwanians, and it is an older or more conservative, I would say, business-oriented group, and this Coward with one of the banks came up, and he seemed to be, well, he says, I could just see underlying what you were saying, that really this was kind of giving it to the city, you know. Well, and of course we have it anyway, but that's the conservative type of a thing, and I don't know how you really respond to it on a one-to-one basis. Then you can get into some of those issues that are bothering you. It's very hard to cover the general argument.
The after period is as important as the speech itself.
Okay. Could I ask Pat to report on the other areas that we're working on?
Okay. First thing, I'd like to ask if we have any other groups that you members of that need speakers. I'm thinking here that if so, I'd like to send 2 commissioners that aren't part of those groups to speak, rather than having someone in that group that that group hears from all the time.
No, that's not necessarily so. You see, my group never hears from me except that I will lead the singing. You see, and the fact that you are part of the group has certain pluses or benefits to it. That you're one of our own. Oh well, there's always that, but you have to consider. You know, I always think that I'm the hair shirt of Kiwanis. You know, that I am the resident liberal in the
That's the
group.
difficulty that I'm asking about.
Well, the feedback I've gotten is that
They like
exactly, and that I think your money ahead if one of our own can present to our own.
I like the idea of somebody like James Brett, complete opposites.
I think
Yeah,
that
that's what we
worked
tried
out
to
pretty
maintain.
well, although we didn't fight much.
That worked out well today, especially when Fred got up and he said, well, I was in favor of this, but I was voted down, and I'm supporting the charter anyway, and I was in favor
Yeah, I
of this,
think
but I
that's
was
positive. That's very,
Incidentally,
And then Jane got up and she said, well, it sounds like Fred's side lost all the time.
well, my side lost a lot too.
Rick just said that he would be happy to be available to any of these meetings as backup, not as a speaker or anything, but as backup.
Well, I think it'd be really
Rick,
good.
how about
Like
the
we
Bar
were
Association?
thrown.
Wouldn't you like to talk to them?
Oh, I can talk to the bar.
The Bar Association?
I think we should have. I don't.
Very dense.
Huh?
Very dense.
I don't think. Well, I think we
Very
should
big,
present
very
to
prejudiced.
Well, this is beside the point.
Very
They need to be
prejudiced.
educated. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Bother anybody.
Very, very tragic.
They meet Fridays.
I think
They have a lunch.
Cost more in a Kiwanis meeting than I would get at
Who's the president this year?
Jerry Wade.
Let's move on.
Jerry Wayne?
Running.
can I, okay,
Listen, the Filipino Society wants to speak. You didn't give them any.
You're close.
that's you.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you.
I gotta take
All
care
right.
of them.
Well,
I think I
Oh,
could
we
speak
pretty
to
well
the
covered
Filipino
it.
group, Pat.
Would you please?
They're asking for us.
I'd be
you
glad
already,
to speak to the Philippine group.
pardon?
I would be glad to speak to the Philippine group.
And if you can't find others, I'll go.
Oh, well, I will too. Any, you know.
Yeah, any group, it doesn't
Just
matter.
ask.
Also, Jim and I cut a tape this week that will be on KANC on Saturday night, 8:30.
The
Half hour
setting is
video tape.
1080 on your dial.
Oh, that's a new station.
Country Western.
Okay, you've already said the TV program has gone very well, and Herb Shaman was very pleased. with it. And his comment to Bob Russell, his comment to Bob Russell was he wished he had a hammer, but he couldn't find a hammer anywhere. And to hit Bob. He said there's no reason to have a hammer, and he's sorry about that. And
The slides are super.
you already,
How was that lead-in? Because we didn't hear any of the background sound on the slide.
all right?
Yeah.
Was there good dialogue, script with that?
I like the woman.
I laughed when I saw her.
My wife knows that first off. She's not as endowed as the woman on TV screen.
Yeah, she was there in all of her.
Frank and Sherry talked to the Spinard Lions. I missed that one. My dog was sick. Did you have anything
I don't.
on the Spinard Lions?
No, they have the regular questions.
Okay. Jim and Arliss talked to the Anchorage Kiwanis. And Jane and Fred talked to the Republican Club today in Anchorage. Yeah, we are, and we've got all the letters out now.
And incidentally, I don't think it's hurt at all the next people in the audience. For example,
It's been healthy. You mean the extra commissioner?
I was at the Republican Club,
Very nice.
and Sherry was at the Kiwanis, and Frank has popped in at both the Kiwanis and the Republican Club, but I don't think it hurt at all. It was to our advantage there.
Okay, and I had our artist disappear, but I guess he's back. So I wrote that in there. Our other production specialist. Oh, never mind. Our community workshop is scheduled for August 12th, and there's a reference to it in this flyer. It's printed up here, but we made arrangements for the Lucy Cuddy Center from about 7:30 to 9:30 on Tuesday night, August 12th, right after the TV program. Thinking we can publicize it this next Tuesday and the following Tuesday, and then close out the program the following Tuesday with C over at the Lucy Cuddy Center, and invite the general public. And this will be one that will also invite people from that survey and ask them to come and participate.
As we finished mentioning the Lucy Cuddy Center, we looked up at the camera and said, Lucy, you've got better look like too.
You want a bet?
Okay. Some of the formatting will have to fall into place on that community workshop between now and the 12th. It'll take some effort on the part of the
What time is that workshop?
7:30 p.m.
All right.
You want to explain what the brochure is?
We'll be getting to that here. We have a community flyer which is being distributed through the community schools, and it's sitting here in front of Fred. And it's really just a questionnaire which we've asked them to mail back to us, distributed to, it'll be over 3,000 people. We started out with 2,000, and Halo wants 850 tomorrow. And all it is to tell us what areas people want information in, and to tell us what they consider to be the media they will probably be looking for information on, whether it's TV or a brochure or what. It's a checkoff list. Originally we were thinking of a Q&A, and then we sidetracked that into this kind of a format, which would be valuable for the public information idea. The main thing is to give us some guidance on where we need to emphasize, and it'll give them an awareness that the charter is coming. And it's a twofold thing.
I wonder if we might not take some of these to places where we present, have them check them off right there and not have to mail them in.
That'd be great.
Just to take them back at the end of the meeting.
We'll have extra copies for that. We ordered 1,000 more today. And it isn't a highly professional thing, but it's just kind of a
What is this Codaphone thing?
Okay,
Is it on stream yet?
as soon as we finish our questions, it'll dovetail right into these questions you're going to do tonight.
You'll use those, okay.
Yes, yeah, all the questions, all the sketches, everything will be repeated in every quarter, so that we'll be consistent all the way through and all the way around. You mentioned the letters. Patty says they're out, asking the groups and organizations for time on their programs. Working on a new script for Channel 13 for tomorrow, which maybe I can get with Mr. Reed on for some of the finance questions. tomorrow. If you have some
What's this you're going to do now?
Well, you recall the opening on the last TV program?
Oh,
with
I
the
see.
Slides?
Okay.
So we need to provide them another 3 minutes worth to match up with slides. And we're trying to locate video equipment to go into that workshop on the 12th at the Lucy Cuddy Center. And hope to make an overture tomorrow. Still putting together the media kit. I need just a little extra time to prepare that and run those by each of you. And I need some speakers for way off, August 27th, which is the Board of Realtors at the Sheffield House at 8 in the morning, or 8:15 in the morning. Pardon? You want?
They're a good group. Is that the multiple listing or the Board of Realtors?
That's the Board of Realtors. It's the other end of it.
Okay.
Jane?
I'm speaking twice to them. I better not long.
Okay. Jane is ready to go. Is there anybody else?
When is it?
You want to?
27th of August.
The 27th at 8:15 in the morning, Sheffield House.
The one down.
I think there should be a man. More than two is, but I think there should be a man.
Right.
Realtors are a pretty chauvinistic group.
I really kind of like the idea of the balance. I think it's worked out well.
Like today, the
I'll take the realtors.
Okay.
Choose who you want to go with.
I don't care. Either one of you.
Well,
I have a tendency to feel realtors are somewhat chauvinistic.
Protected.
Jim's always let me go first. I think that's his problem.
No, Larry Tyler
Arliss, I found out I go first. Isn't that right, Mary?
Yes, sir. He was forewarned by Jim, and he sure did.
I did.
Pat? How do you expect them to distribute this to their members when you've got the only vacant spot that they can put their addresses on filled?
they have indicated that they're going door to door and they're putting them in envelopes.
They'd have to put them in
They are,
envelopes.
yeah, that was their suggestion.
They'd have to put them in envelopes.
Is somebody lined up to talk to the Halo group?
To the what?
Halo.
They asked me to come, and they said they would be happy to have anybody else that would.
When?
For one, their board meets, I think, this coming Tuesday evening. When they're going to have other open places for it, I don't know.
Are they going to take a stand on it?
I would imagine they would, Arliss, but I don't know. They may decide not to take a stand with their
Think you
board.
can sell them?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
You just
Who's
reminded
the
me.
president?
Who's the president?
Ann Babsky is the chairman.
Ann's pretty busy.
Let me look on my desk. I
Ann's a
think I
great
got
gal.
a date from her that she's interested in having some people.
Jane, are you getting pretty close to the end of your...
Yes, for sure.
Is he done? Yeah, he said he's through. Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking is...
August 14th. She wants to know if she can have people over just to her house. About 20 people from the Halo group.
I apologize for the piece that I'm not as well organized as
Oh,
some
knock it
people will
off.
make committee reports, but
this is fun.
thank God we didn't have to write the charter this
State
way.
of the Union. I am unavailable for anything from the 26th of August to the 3rd of September.
Are you quoting someone or is that you?
Yeah.
I'll be in Chicago, in D.C.
Chicago.
So the Halo group is on the 14th.
You do well. All right, then.
We'll work on that.
Let's go on to something that I think we need to go on. Thank you, Jane. Under new business, I have down on the agenda for you the commission and staff position regarding candidates. Commissioners and the staff are going to be asked questions and have been asked questions about candidates, support of candidates. And I can tell you that my personal feeling has been that we should try to be, unless one of us is a candidate, we should be as aloof as we can as far as a candidate, other than stating we'd like to see good candidates, as Fred did today. I don't think we should support any given candidate at this juncture, because our job, as I see it, is to promote information about the charter and not about candidates.
That's not one.
The other thing is candidate appearances. If Mary becomes a candidate, or Jim becomes a candidate, or Arliss, or myself, or Fred, or somebody becomes a candidate, I don't know how to handle their appearances as charter commissioners. I know.
Can we
In other
do
words, if
one
we
thing
look,
at a time, Frank? Because I've been asked myself as a staff member about supporting individuals in the campaign, and I have already been in the throes of not knowing exactly what my position should be.
I feel
Other
you should
than-
not, as should the commission. I think anyone, Rick or Pat or yourself, I feel it would be wrong if you're connected with the charter. I think you are connected with the charter. And I
Right.
think it
This
really
is my
puts you-
personal feeling too.
put you in a position of a little bit more than just the average bear, so to speak.
And I'd rather
That's my
answer
opinion.
questions for the charter,
Yeah.
I think, rather than for the candidate.
It's delicate.
It's a
I really-
proscription that I am willing to accept because I think it detracts from the months of work that all of us have done if we get
involved in
at that level. It's one of the sacrifices, even though that sometimes you might want to. That,
How do you, Rick and Pat, how do you feel?
Oh, I agree.
I've already used that as an excuse to stay
Yeah,
out of the campaign.
and this is what I really wanted too, and it's one reason why I brought it up to Frank today to be put on the agenda, because I'd like to have this to, in a sense, be able to fall back on. Where right
think
now,
it's
I feel
entirely
my
appropriate.
primary
job.
obligation is to answer questions in the charter and get the charter passed. And the candidates who happen to go in there, you know, you can give them all kinds of moral support. But as far as coming out publicly, I'm publicly for the charter.
Rick?
And I think
I think that. How about you, Lisa?
But can we, publicly you don't want us to endorse people, one way or another.
Well, you know, I can see what's coming up, Frank.
But can I say, like somebody says to me, okay, who do you think, who's a good person to vote for the assembly person? Who do you support for the assembly?
On an individual, personal basis?
Yeah, somebody, okay, Fred.
Not
Fred
speaking,
comes.
not speaking for the charter.
And not out campaigning for them. I ask you 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 or something like
But
that.
you're not working on,
Will not sign it as a charter commission member. But I believe that as an individual, I have the right to do that. Now, I was told by numerous of the assembly folks that I had no business doing that because I was on the assembly. But if I don't care enough to say folks that I think are worthy of consideration for that, I think that there's something wrong with me.
Well, Mary, I think that here the basis has got to be that whenever you're functioning as a charter commissioner
No.
or recognized as a charter
No,
commissioner,
not as that.
I'm not talking, if you're going to if Patty is being called in the office as a charter, in a charter office, and then
No.
she's asked,
I agree with
If
that
he
sort
had
of thing,
asked
but I'm warning you that I intend doing
Right.
this sort of thing
but not
as an
as Mary
individual.
Froney Charter Commission.
No, not.
And Frank, in addition to that, you see, I wouldn't be a bit surprised, just for example, that Lisa might be supporting Jack Roddick for mayor, and I might be supporting George Sullivan for mayor, and that both of us would work individually on their campaign, but not as Jim Parsons Charter Commissioner.
but as people.
Yeah.
The way that bothers me if it gets over into the public sector though, because I think that's bad. If it becomes known, I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
one of the things that you have to deal with, that we are private citizens who are working for a political purpose.
It's like
And I'm not about to be constricted on that.
Arliss, I've got to agree with that. As long as they are not representing themselves as charter commissioners or out or publicizing their activities as from a charter commission standpoint.
I guess I'm hoping it can be low key because I
agree.
very
I
difficult
absolutely
to
agree.
in that line. And
I don't want to see, and I'd object to seeing Jim getting out for George Sullivan and rah-rah in the paper, and then at noon going to the
No way.
charter commissioner.
No, I consider my primary purpose to get the charter before the people, and that any other thing I have to subject to a subordinate position at this point.
I don't believe in telling anybody that they should vote for anybody. I'd be perfectly willing to tell them that I think so-and-so and so-and-so is worthy of their consideration for certain jobs. But I don't believe you should tell anybody that they should vote for anybody.
You have a further question.
But it's okay that we work in campaigns.
Well, yeah, I think as Darla says, we have to be low key about
You've
it.
got to be very low key about it. If you're out beating the bush and you're getting lots of publicity as a charter commissioner, and you leave a TV show as charter commissioner and rush out doing something for publicly and really widespread publicly for a candidate, I think that's really reflecting a charter commission stand rather than your own.
Well, you're really getting your cake and eating it too. I think if you're in the public position, you're there and you're known because of it, and therefore your word carries somewhat more weight. And so it does. You get into that kind of fine line of when you're using an organization or
By the
for.
same token, charter commissioner, I'm happy to see any of them that do run. If they run, they gain the same advantages. So it's just one of those things we've got to be very careful about, and I think we should be able to give the staff the support of saying we would prefer that they not sanction any one candidate or work for any one candidate. This is a preference. We're not law or anything. I don't think there's any law that would bear us out on that.
I agree. I'm of the opinion that we have all invested too much time and personal energy in this thing, with all kinds of differences taken into consideration, to jeopardize it by putting ourselves in that kind of a vulnerable position. I think there's more at stake.
Fred?
Well, just thinking about that. I mean, there's no doubt about the staff. Lisa brought up, and then you kind of confirmed it. There's a silent endorsement by any one of these commissioners on this commission. If he gets out and openly works in any kind of campaign, the public will read it as a commission endorsement. I don't care how you couch it.
Yeah, we have to be very careful.
Very, very careful.
And I would almost recommend that no commissioner get involved, really.
Well,
What I hear Lisa
I know
saying
it's a difficult thing,
is,
but...
can I go and lick postage stamps? And I certainly don't think...
Yeah, behind the scenes, it's fine, but I mean, suddenly if you come out in the public light, you know. And then after August 6th, no doubt, some people on this commission will be running for office, and they're gonna have to drop out. And that's gonna
I
signal
mean,
a lot of things.
I'll be working in a campaign. And so, if I just go ahead and work in that campaign, that's fine.
Well, how are you going to work in it? I think there's a difference there.
If you were gonna cut spots for that campaign.
Oh, I'm not going to cut. Or be the finance.
Yeah, something where your name appears in
I'm
public.
not going to be treasurer or anything like that, but I will be working directly in the campaign.
Will it give you visibility? Is it a would your
High
role
visibility.
give you visibility?
Well, this was kind of where my question arose because of being approached about backing. I am in favor of backing, but I drew the line at, I thought my name shouldn't appear on a letter,
Right.
for instance. It shouldn't appear on a list of people in the paper who are in support of this candidate. I can lick stamps and I can lick envelopes and I can do all the
It
other.
develops strategy.
You can organize it, you can implement it. If Danny wants to do it,
But
that's
you
fine.
can't
But as far as my being in the position of
I
being an
still say it's a
employee,
fine line, I agree.
You
with
bet.
of being an employee
goes
of
by
the
speeches.
Charter Commission, I really feel.
Is it so terribly tough? One time, you
We go
know?
along with the charter plans.
Well, I've put too much of my life into this in the last 5 months to throw it down the drain for nothing. I think that would be
Okay,
foolish.
are we ready for the next one?
Yep. The other one was candidate appearances as charter commissioners. In other words, if Mary's a candidate, or Jim's a candidate, Fred's a candidate, or someone else is a candidate, how do you folks feel about their continuing appearance on programs as charter commissioners to say, I'm all for the charter and this and that, and they're at the same time they're running for office?
All right, we did get, did we not, one ruling from the TV station?
Yeah.
You cannot, as a candidate, appear on anything except news shows as far as the radio and TV are concerned. Your clubs have different rules, and I think there is absolutely no way that you can, after you have once filed for an office, of not admitting that you're a candidate. But that doesn't mean that if you're asked to talk about the charter, that there's any reason why you can't talk about the charter without making it the main emphasis rather than the fact that you're running at clubs.
That's
At clubs.
We're scheduling out of the charter office, and let's say you and Fred are running in Section 6, and say you're running for the same seat, just for brothers. All right.
And that's very possible.
That's very possible. Well, all right, now, so we schedule you and Fred to a meeting.
Yo-yos.
Well, that to me is something that the Charter Commission should not be scheduling. We'll say you and Fred to Halo for a talk about the charter when you're both candidates.
I see nothing wrong with it as far as that's concerned. If you're asked to speak on the charter, that's fine. If you're asked to speak on your candidacy, that's fine.
Well,
I think that the invitation will say what they want you to talk about.
Mary Ann, I think you missed my point.
But not as
We're-
charter commissioners.
Charter commissioners are being scheduled by the charter office. Should we be scheduling
Two candidates, I think the answer
or
is no.
a candidate?
I don't
to a-
think it's necessary.
No.
But I
don't know
think
whether
I
it would be-
agree with Mary that if anybody's abusing it, there are ways we can
Get all right.
censor them.
Well, I just think we gotta bring it out in the open and talk about it here, rather than going away and saying, well, that so-and-so did this or that or the other thing. I think I'd rather see out on the table and discuss it so we know what we're talking about.
I don't frankly see a big objection if those people don't, again, use and abuse the position of being a charter commission member. I think there are things that you will do, the candidates go to their places and you're just like a herd of elephants, as I recall, that they program you in and you go to those places. That is separate from the kind of a thing we're doing, which is public information on the charter.
Yeah.
And if
And
there
I
are
see no
abuses
reason
of that,
why you
then I
can't
think we
answer
start
the
to
public
Well,
information.
let me give you an example. It's not quite the same. We went up to this Government Hill radio station, and it's an incredible experience because the guy has just arrived from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the end of April. He knew nothing about Anchorage civic life in any way, and fortunately we spent a half hour with him. An hour with him. He said, how do you people get on the charter? Were you appointed? You know, all this kind of thing. And what's the difference between the borough and the city? And you want to go, my God, what the hell are you doing in a position in the media that you don't know what you're doing? But instead, we were both
Wonderful.
absolutely diplomats and pulled the guy along.
And after an hour with him, then we taped a half hour, and I think it went very well. As well as we expected for a guy that just came from Harrisburg.
Well, we were
And,
pretty well primed.
Huh?
It was pretty well primed by that time.
Yeah, I mean, we
Questions that we
spent
could
an
answer.
hour of indoctrination with this guy.
Yeah, but what's your point, Jim?
The point is that, I don't know now, I've lost it.
Talk the guys from Harrisburg.
That happened to be on TV the other day, and there was no one outside. I was laughing, and I just had to admit, hey, I don't know what the fun is.
Oh, God, no, I had one. I really did have one.
Yeah.
There was one. There really was. Sometimes you feel like this guy that appears on the TV shows with tennis shoes, Dr. whatever his name is, who looks like he's had one round too long.
Does anybody object to that approach? Does it bother you, Frank?
I just, no, it bothered me to this extent. I don't want commission members disgruntled, wandering around here saying Fred shouldn't be doing this, or Mary shouldn't be doing that, or Jim shouldn't be doing that. I'd like to have us kind of understand each other and what we hope and expect of
When
each other.
service calls, when organizations call asking if they want people that are candidates or people that are charter commissioners.
Well, they're both. Ask them whether they're being invited to the charter commission.
Thank you.
Well, for the charter.
And charter commission things are scheduled from this office. Candidate things are scheduled in your own right way.
That's right.
I gather from the way you've been talking, Frank, that 3 people are running from here. You keep saying Jim, myself, and Mary.
Well, let me put it this way. Likely, if the paper should have said Jim Parsons probably will not run in all practical realities.
I've really been tempted, though.
You bet.
I wish you would.
You notice I've carefully...
Aren't you going to do it all?
Please don't dissipate our campaign team.
All right, now.
We got a good team
Don't
going.
want to run against me.
I love civic involvement, but you know, the practical realities of money and the four incumbents in my area.
Speaking for the charter, is that right?
Well, I'm with you. I haven't quite made up my mind what I'm
You know, Chuck Eddy is a good man. I think like Chuck Eddy.
you know, like the talk, but they
Chuck
should
Eddy
be
or Fred
I'm not
Mark.
convinced.
I can talk to anything.
Let's go to
I'm
bed.
not a candidate.
Right.
Is there anything else?
Yes, there is.
Oh, yeah,
We have some commentary, commission comments for publication, and we're losing time pretty rapidly here. And Rick has prepared some, and I don't know how many of you have given individual contributions to them. But,
I really don't think it's worth going over in detail tonight at this stage of the game. But if you do want comments, we do, I think, need to get them pretty soon. And these are nothing more than what I thought needed a little amplification. And that's not a sufficient basis for commission comments. So I hope that when you're at meetings and stuff like that and people bring up things that are ambiguous to them or they raise a question that you think we can deal with in this forum, you'll let me know and we can do it.
One comment that I have right off the bat that we should... People do not understand that a lot of this is based on state statute.
Good point.
A lot of the questions that come up, we've had to answer them by saying that we had to take a certain position because of the state statute. This came up today, in fact.
Yeah.
And, I would bring that out as a comment, that a lot of this, a lot of the points in this charter are mandatory because of the state statute.
That sure would help me if
Yeah.
I could have an enumeration of each one that
Please.
the area.
That a lot of the points in our charter are based upon compliance with the state statute.
Lisa?
I just wanted to say that for the Daily News, I'll be writing an article for the Alaska Forum, and they said that, that they're always looking for forum articles, and that, if you want to write about the charter or one specific section or something like that, that you can just take it to them, and that's it. And so what I'm going to do is write about
Who's
You
this,
know.
the Daily News?
also I'm going to write about the relationship between people and government. you know, how government affects the people, and then what the charter does to help to bring these people together, you know, the two together.
Could we schedule this as an item for specific discussion? Isn't that appropriate
I think so.
for the next meeting? The things that Rick has brought
Commission comment, yes, we can.
Okay,
For
Mr.
the
Chairman.
next meeting?
Yeah, the only thing I'm afraid that there's a certain amount of inertia, of course, here, and I don't want to be in a position of making up the commission comments myself, and these are illustrative, but
Well, I thought about it this afternoon, Rick, and I really have no specific commissioner comments myself.
We commented during the course of the meetings a number of times, well, maybe that should go in commission.
Yeah, and I don't think any of us wrote it down, and now, maybe,
If you take
some of
Let
this
me go
stuff.
back and read through it, see some of these things.
I tried to do that
Yeah, I
this
think that's
afternoon.
what I'll-
Well, I think that I needed to
we
make a
picked up
comment
the
about
things
things.
that Patty had noted, at least some of the things that were
And they're
to
in
be
here?
commented. Yeah. And what I'm thinking is that, what's his name? Stan Erickson calls me up and asks me all these questions, and somebody who's not close to it sees little things that to them seem ambiguous. They don't seem ambiguous to me, but I'm not the one that this is for. So probably at your meetings and so forth,
maybe it'll develop out
Yeah.
there.
I hear it from that angle, and I'll try to
there's
remember that.
talks and stuff.
If we're going to ask Rick to develop some wording for these, before next meeting, let's try to get him a sense or an idea of what we're thinking, if anything.
Now, as a
That's
second,
not kind.
as another point, if someone should call me at home and ask me if I would speak on the charter, I think I probably should refer them to the commission office for scheduling.
Yeah. Even though you're willing to do it, you can do it, you should refer them to the commission office over, they've got the
Keep it on
scheduling.
the master's calendar.
You bet.
We've got a master calendar and everybody knows what's going on. And Pat can, if you're willing to do it, you can call Pat and say, I'm willing to do this when it'll be called into you. Now, I noticed on the, or rather I didn't notice, Rick noticed that on what I had drawn up, passed out tonight to you, that I hadn't really covered it entirely. I didn't cover that portion about spreading the
Assets and liabilities.
the assets later to the area that it's being served. In other words, we put in there a position where the assembly could spread it on determination that it served a larger area, and that larger area would not necessarily be the whole borough.
Right.
So I didn't cover that in here.
Okay.
So just so you know.
You're happy. Somebody interesting back in town.
Yeah, I've been promised I'm going booking tonight on an earlier phone call.
This was gonna be a short meeting, I remember that.
All right.
I told them that, too.
Yeah,
We've
remember
covered,
damn it, it's been fucking over.
we've covered everything on the agenda.
Never
The
mind, you didn't.
chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Right.